The Jake Asman Show will begin shortly. Thanks to all these great Patreon members who help support the show. Get your super chats ready. Jake will be here in just a moment. If you love the New York Jets, this is the place to be. And now, the Jake Asman Show.
We have been saved, baby. Dante Moore is staying in school, and the Jets can't be tempted to do something really dumb. Let's talk about it. It's the Jake Asman Show, and it starts right now.
I let the organization down, and I let the players down, and that burns me. It really does. This season's on me, and we're going to work our ass off to get this shit exactly where it needs to be.
A new chapter for the Jets has started. Aaron Glenn and Darren Muji are tasked with shaping the future of this franchise. Will they be the ones to finally get it right? We will be here for every step of the journey on the Jake Asman Show, breaking down all the storylines, every game, and everything in between. Please subscribe and hit the like button below. Super chats, baby. Cut the line. The Jake Asman Show starts right now.
Here we go. Hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel. It is the Jake Asman Show presented by FanDuel Sportsbook. Ladies and gentlemen, Dante Moore is staying in school. He went on SportsCenter moments ago to announce that he's returning to Oregon for the 2026 season. Moore had been the projected number 2 pick in the draft by many to the New York Jets. Now, I think the initial reaction from some is, what? Why? The Jets need a quarterback, and Fernando Mendoza is going to go number 1 on the Raiders. Let's look at it from the standpoint of where the Jets are at and who Dante Moore is as a prospect. Dante Moore needs another year of seasoning. We all thought Dante Moore would declare because we're talking about $60 million in guaranteed money if he came out and was the 2nd pick in the draft. Right? Financially, it's a bad decision to go back to school. What if he gets hurt this year? What if he doesn't have as good of a year? All of a sudden, instead of going number 2 a year from now, he might go at the end of the first round. He might not be a first-round pick. Drew Aller to Penn State, went back to school. He got hurt. He's probably a day 2, day 3 pick now. So from a Moore standpoint, I think he made a bad financial decision. From a Jet standpoint, Dante Moore would have been overdrafted by a head coach who has final say on personnel and Aaron Glenn, desperate to get his quarterback. The Jets would not operate in the best interest of the long-term direction of the franchise because Aaron Glenn's on the hot seat. Darren Muji is on the hot seat. They need to have an opportunity to get their guy now so they could tell Woody Johnson, hey, don't fire us after we go 5-12 next year. We have Dante Moore. We need to see our plan through. We need to see this kid get an opportunity before you evaluate us. It doesn't give the Jets that option now. Again, Aaron Glenn and Darren Muji are not on the same timeline as what Dante Moore's timeline would need to be for this to work. Everyone you talk to, scouts, personnel people, draft experts, they all say the same thing. Dante Moore needs more time to develop. He has started 18 games in college. He's 20 years old. If you look at the recent history of first-round quarterbacks that have fewer than 20 college starts, the list is awful. Trubisky, Tannehill, Richardson, Lance, Mac Jones, Murray, Dwayne Haskins. You got to go back to Cam Newton the last time someone started this few games and actually was really, really good right away. That is not something I want the Jets to bet on. Obviously, in a dream scenario, you could argue, well, Jake, you want more to declare because then the number 2 pick is worth more in value. Even if you're the Jets and you're not taking Dante Moore, maybe someone else would, and you could trade out at number 2. I get that. I do. But do you really trust the New York Jets to do the right thing? You really trust the New York Jets to not reach on a quarterback when their head coach is desperate? He can't afford to wait till 2027, which is the practical thing to do, or take Ty Simpson with the Colts pick, or take Trinidad Chambliss with the Colts pick, or if those guys aren't even projected to go in the top 16, you have the first pick of the 2nd round, pick 33. You have the Cowboys pick, which is pick 44 of round 2. Get your quarterback then. You trust the Jets to do the right thing, though? I don't. I think they're going to be looking at Dante Moore and find every reason to draft him. They'll sell us on how they have this plan to develop him, sit him, so we won't have to play right away. It's the same nonsense they tried to sell us on this year. Oh, Justin Fields has never been coached up properly. We're going to let him play quarterback. Aaron Glenn from day one has gotten the quarterback position entirely wrong.
What do you look for in a quarterback? Like, what's an Aaron Glenn quarterback?
A winner.
You want Aaron Glenn to oversee the development of Dante Moore? We think that's going to work out, Jet fans? No chance. So I get it. Some of you are probably thinking, well, you want him to declare, so you could trade the pick. I get that thought process, but this is the Jets. They don't earn the benefit of the doubt. Not when you go 3-14. Not when this head coach, who should have been fired, anyone with a brain can see that. Not when this head coach was so bad. This coaching staff was such a disgrace to the profession. Calling them coaches is insulting. You don't, under any circumstance, let this staff, with Charles London, who's a former running back, as our quarterback coach, or Scott Turner, who's a failed offensive coordinator, as our senior offensive assistant. This is the staff Glenn put together. Tanner Engstrom, a first-time offensive play caller. You don't give them a 20-year-old who needs to be developed and spend pick 2 in the draft on it. Because then what happens if you draft Dante Moore? They say, oh, we got this plan. He's going to sit. We're going to develop him. And what happens if the Jets start 1-5 and Aaron Glenn's worried about his job? He'll pull the lever to go to the rookie quarterback, hoping that rookie quarterback can play well enough to buy him more time and give him a third year. Brian Dable tried to do this with Jackson Dart. Turns out Dart was actually a lot more ready to play than anyone thought. But that couldn't even save Dable's job with the Giants. So why would we think that Dante Moore would actually get the redshirt season he clearly would need? And again, if you invest the second overall pick in him, and you're terrible next year, and you have 3 first-round picks in 2027, and the next coach comes in and is not sold on Dante Moore and likes someone else, we just burnt the number 2 pick in the draft for what reason? Or because Woody seems to care about money, you gave out a $60 million contract fully guaranteed, and now what happens? You take a different quarterback, you got to eat some of that money to now trade Dante Moore elsewhere? Again, you're burning the asset. If the Jets had Kyle Shanahan, if they had Sean McVay, and they wanted to take Dante Moore, today would be really, really devastating. I'm not looking at it that way, though. I'm looking at it through the lens of where this franchise is currently at, with all these great coaches available, and we're sitting here having to basically try and just hope that Aaron Glenn magically gets better. I'm not giving them a quarterback who's 20 years old with 18 career starts and taking him second overall. No one seems to think Dante Moore could play right away. This would be a terrible, terrible decision by the Jets to draft him second overall, not with this coaching staff. So I love the fact, that he is staying in school. They can't be tempted to do it. Now, what you could do is you could go best player available, or you could trade at it too if there's another team that wants to come up for a different position. There's some good pass rushers in this draft. There are some good receivers in this draft. There are some really good linebackers and safeties in this draft. The Jets have a lot of options. And by the way, if Dante Moore did this to avoid playing for the Jets, guess what? You might be a Jet in 2027, Dante. Hopefully by then we have a real coach that can help you. But again, he needs another year in college. We all thought that he would still declare just because of the financial ramifications of staying in school. I'm sure Oregon's giving Dante Moore a sweet NIL package. It's not $60 million guaranteed and $30 million at signing like what Dante Moore would get had he came out and the Jets took him second overall. But this is a good day for the Jets. Some will try and tell you otherwise. No, you want him in the draft so you could get more for that pick. The problem is they would take him. The problem is they would draft him. You can't allow this coaching staff, after the year they just had, to take their chance on a quarterback with 18 career starts who's 20 years old when the history of guys with so few of those starts is horrific. And again, I'm not even out on Dante Moore because he struggled in the game against Indiana. All great prospects have bad games. Caleb Williams threw a touchdown and had 3 picks against Notre Dame his last year. Drake May had 0 touchdowns and 2 picks in a 39-10 loss in the ACC title game. Jordan Love had 0 touchdowns and 3 picks against LSU and 1 touchdown and 3 picks against BYU in the same season. Julian Sayin scored 10 points against Indiana when Ohio State lost to Indiana in the playoff. Or in the Big Ten championship game, I should say. Right? Sayin threw a touchdown and had 2 picks against Miami, and he's still a top prospect a year from now. You don't judge a prospect on one game. So I'm not out on Dante Moore because, he struggled against Indiana, and that now you can't draft him. I'm out on Dante Moore because he has started 18 games in college. You can't take a guy second overall with that resume, given what we just watched from this coaching staff. So I actually give Moore a lot of credit for going back to school, but it's a terrible financial decision. Obviously, if he struggles, he gets hurt, he cost himself some money. But I think the Jets avoided a crisis here. I really do. I really do. The Jets, under no circumstance, should be trusted right now to select a quarterback that high. You can't trust them to do it. Now, if this was Mendoza, I'd feel differently. He's got the prototypical size. He checks off every box. He's got the games started. It feels like the floor with him is higher. Unfortunately, we went through a 3-14 season where the Jets were tanking. Right. They started 0-7. Let's conveniently leave that out. They broke an NFL record for losing 5 straight games by 23 or more. They didn't have an interception, but yeah, of course. This is all part of Aaron Glenn's master plan. But we just sat through a 3-14 season. And if you can't get a legitimate quarterback option in the draft, don't reach for one. Unfortunately, it's a 1 quarterback draft as far as worthy of taking a swing on someone at the top of the draft. It's just Mendoza, it feels like. So, okay. At least if we went through hell this past year, a 3-14 season, can we come away with that number 2 pick with a player who's going to be great for our team? Ruben Bain, Arvell Reese, Carnell Tate, whoever. Right? Darren Muji and Aaron Glenn, to their credit, got the Armand Membu pick, right? Find a great player at 2. Any team who employs a professional general manager and professional head coach can find an outstanding player with the 2nd pick in the draft. Maybe there are some trade partners we're not thinking of. You never know. The point is, if you're going to take such a risk on a 20-year-old with 18 career games in college, you're not doing what's in the best interest of your team, your franchise, because there's no way Moore would be ready to play right away. And if they say he is, they're lying. Or if they start 1-5 and all of a sudden they change the plan and they put him out there before he's ready, then what? You ruin his development. You burn the resource potentially. It's not worth it. Aaron Glenn has given you no reason to think he can handle the development of a quarterback. So you don't draft one. You don't do it. This, to me, is a good thing, not a bad thing for the Jets. I understand there's going to be people, again, saying, you want to be able to trade the pick. I get it. In a perfect world, you'd love to be able to trade at it too. But I'm sorry. I don't believe the Jets would be capable of thinking about a long-term plan. I think they're all in right now in CYA mode, cover your ass mode. And more, they'll look and find anything positive they could do to take him 2nd overall. Again, I think I'd feel differently if I had more confidence in the regime in place right now, specifically the coaching staff and specifically the offensive staff. But I don't know how anyone could watch this past season and think, yep, the right move for the Jets would be to take a quarterback who clearly needs more seasoning. He said it himself in the interview on ESPN. And then, yep, let's take that guy and let's throw him out there in the biggest media market in the world playing for the Jets. This is the best thing that has happened to the Jets in a while. I truly believe that. Build the team. You want to take a chance on Ty Simpson? Fine. You want to take a chance on Trinidad Chambliss? Fine. You don't do it at 2, and now they won't do it at 2. You want to take a chance on someone on day 2 of the draft? Right? Carson Beck is a popular name, Drew Allard, whoever. All good. But the idea that the New York Jets should take a quarterback at age 20 with 18 career starts and draft him second overall and trust me, bro, coach, trust me, bro, to put him in the best position for success is asinine.
And I know it's hard to say. Just trust me, have faith in what we're doing.
Trust me, Jet fans. Aaron Glenn will not be the head coach when this team is any good. So we need to get through 2026. And if he proves me wrong, I'd love to be wrong. Again, I'm going to keep it real on this show. He should have been fired, in my opinion. I hope he proves me wrong. I hope there's so much egg on my face that I suffocate from it. I want to be wrong about this coach. But I don't know how anyone could be honest with themselves as a diehard Jet fan like I am and many of you watching in the chat right now and think that taking a quarterback who clearly needs development, it's in the best interest for the Jets to do it. It would make no sense. It doesn't make any sense. This is a good thing. In a perfect world, Moore comes out, we trade the pick. But they wouldn't have traded the pick. They would have taken him second overall. You got to understand that. This regime is desperate. That's how this goes. The Jets have always gotten into the habit of having different people in the organization on different timelines. Most notably, quarterback, GM, and head coach. So this is a good thing. Honestly, if you're Aaron Glenn, this is a good thing for you. Now you got the number 2 pick to take a player that can help you win right away. Dante Moore wouldn't be able to do that. What are you going to do now? So I get it. There's some Jet fans who are going to be bummed about this. Don't be. We move forward now. And I think this will be a good thing in the big picture for the Jets. We probably got to sit through another nightmare 2026. But I think ultimately this is a good thing, not a bad thing for the Jets. Comments, questions, super chats, cut the line. If you're one of the 700 plus people in here right now, hit the like button and make sure you go right over there and smash the subscribe button. We've had a monster month of January. Just want to thank all the Asmaniacs who continue to support the show. We have 43,626 subscribers as of right now. So we're trying to get to 44K and then 45K and onward we go this offseason. But again, thanks to all of you for making the show so damn fun. And win or lose, and there's certainly been way more losses than wins, we'll be here for you all season, every step of the way. We will get into your calls coming up. We got a raffle prize that is up for grabs on this show and our show tomorrow morning. It is a signed Joe Klecko helmet. So if you want to win it, make sure you enter the raffle by gifting the channel a membership to the community or sending in a $10 super chat or higher to qualify. And when you enter for the Klecko helmet, you're entered to win a signed Garrett Wilson helmet this Tuesday in our weekly raffle, signed Darrelle Revis helmet, and, of course, our third prize, a signed Chad Pennington helmet. So where do the Jets go from here, right? What's the pivot now after Dante Moore stays in school? That's the question. And I think, obviously, even if Moore did declare, you're going to need to still look to add a legitimate veteran, if not more than one. Right? Because Ty Simpson's a one-year starter, too, if you end up with him. And I don't know if Trinidad Chambliss is ready to come in and play right away. You need to find someone that could start most of the year, whether that be Kirk Cousins or Kyler Murray or Marcus Mariota, or you make a trade for Mac Jones, or are you in on Malik Willis? I'd be a little worried about spending a huge contract on a guy who wasn't any good till Matt LaFleur started coaching him. And he had that Green Bay system with the weapons they have and the running game. But he's going to be considered a top option. What's the pivot now for the Jets? Again, you now don't need to be forced to take a guy who's not ready to be the second pick in the draft. A year from now, he might be. And the Jets have 3 1s a year from now. And they'll be better equipped to get the quarterback then if they don't do it early this year. I'm okay with that. I'm not forcing the pick with this coaching staff. You can't do it. In the past, I thought, you got to just take the quarterback. But no. We've seen this too many times now. Learn from our mistakes, Jet fans. And look around the league. So much of the success of any of these young quarterbacks is the head coach or the offensive play caller that they're working with. Drake May was on the Pats last year. He didn't look this good. Trevor Lawrence was a Jaguar last year. He didn't look this good. Caleb Williams was a Bear last year. He didn't look this good. Do we honestly think it's more Bo Nix making Sean Payton look good or the other way around? Coaching, 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 which is ironic because that's what Aaron Glenn said it was all about and then proceeded to have one of the worst seasons any of us have ever seen.
Coaching. It's coaching. What do you mean? Because he can do it. It's just coaching. That's all it is.
And that's why Dante Moore staying in school is a good thing for the New York Jet fans out there who have suffered enough. All right, we don't need to burn the second pick in the draft on a maybe. And look, any of these guys, you never know, right? It took Trevor Lawrence, his third coach, to finally start playing like the guy they said he was. But you know what? I can't burn another number 2 pick on a quarterback who reminds me way too much of Zach Wilson. I can't do it. All right, and the idea that you would trust this staff to not be forced to play him before he's ready, I don't know how anyone could actually think that. Again, if you're watching live, thank you. Appreciate all of you. Klecko sign helmet is our raffle prize. Let's get to some super chats and certainly take plenty of your calls here on our show. Again, Dante Moore staying in school. If you're just tuning in, that is the news that went live about 30 minutes ago. He did an interview on SportsCenter. And the second that Adam Schefter tweeted around 2:15 Eastern, Dante Moore will be on SportsCenter at 2:30 to announce a decision. You knew he was staying in school because you don't go on SportsCenter to say you're leaving. That's not how that works. You go on SportsCenter to say you're coming back and fire up your school and your fan base. Hey, it's Big Kid with our first super chat. We knew he was going to stay. Let's go get Mac Jones and draft our guy in 27. What are you giving up for Mac Jones, right? And if you're the Niners, you're going to ask for something significant because Purdy's got an injury history. I wouldn't trade a second-round pick for Mac Jones. The Jets might be so desperate they might, but at least they're desperate doing that rather than the dumb thing of taking Dante Moore at 2. Now, I'm not in favor of Mac Jones. I want to make it clear. 1, I think he's a dirtbag. And 2, I don't trust anyone who sucked and then they got to work with Kyle Shanahan. They became good. All right, we don't have Kyle Shanahan. So I'm good on Mac Jones. If you told me I had to only give up a 4th to get him, okay, fine. But I think they're going to want something more than that. And thank you, Joe Douglas. We don't have a 3rd-round pick to offer because of the Hassan Reddick trade. So I'm good on Mac Jones. That's just me personally. I understand the appeal, though. If people feel differently, I respect that opinion. Candle with a super chat here. Trevor Mendoza, why do you think the Jets will be in position to draft a QB next year? It never works out for us like that. 7 wins, we keep Glenn. Maybe they keep Glenn with 7 wins. Maybe. I don't think that's a lock. As far as why do I think they'll be in better position next year? Because I'm just playing the odds. That's it. You can't force the quarterback pick, people. And maybe they actually end up still taking a quarterback this year, right? If you took Ty Simpson with the Colts pick and it doesn't work out, that doesn't cripple your franchise. If you take Dante Moore, that might stop you from taking someone else next year. Right? The next head coach might be told by Woody, hey, I'm paying him $60 million guaranteed. You got to make this work. You don't want that. You want the next head coach, if it doesn't work with Glenn, to be able to have full reign on what they want to do. If you took a quarterback at 2nd overall, that could significantly stop the Jets from being able to operate freely in the coaching market a year from now. If it doesn't work out with this head coach, which, again, I hope I'm wrong, but I'm going to be honest. I think Aaron Glenn's a terrible head coach, and we will never win with him. That's based on my eyes, and that's based on data and history that since 2001, head coaches that won 4 or fewer games in year 1, only 2 ever won a playoff game. One of them has Joe Burrow. The other one had Jared Goff and Ben Johnson. So that's what I'm basing that on. And we all watched the same season this year, which you could put lipstick on a pig all you want. It was one of the worst seasons any of us have ever lived through, and the coaching was deplorable. So I'm thinking about the Jet future because this owner, with all these qualified candidates out there, is bringing back this inept head coach. So I'm glad Dante Moore said, I don't want to play for the Jets. Or even if it wasn't that, he said, I need more development. Good for him. That's not our problem. That's where I'm at. Swamp Ranger with a super chat. Jets will win enough games to keep them from a QB in 27. 3 firsts won't be enough to trade up with other QB needing teams. AG hire set us back 5 years. I won't say that. How many games do you think the Jets are going to win next year with this coaching staff? I mean, how many games? And again, you have 3 1s. Also, here's the thing people don't bring up. The Jets have 4 chances to get a really high pick. Let me explain. They have their own. That's 1. They have the Colts pick. That's 2. Who's their quarterback right now? Their entire regime is on the hot seat, by the way. Who's their QB? Daniel Jones coming off an Achilles? All right, that's 2. 3, we have Dallas. 4, we have Green Bay. And what I mean by that is we get the best of the Dallas Green Bay draft pick. That was a smart negotiation ploy by Darren Muji. Give him credit. He said the Jets in the deal for Quinnen will get the best of the first rounder between Dallas and Green Bay because Dallas had both of them. So that means you got 4 chances for one of these teams to be so bad you're picking in range to get one of these quarterbacks. I like our chances. I like our chances with next year's draft featuring Arch Manning, Julian Sayin, Dante Moore, Lenora Sellers, and there could be more QBs that emerge. No one had Fernando Mendoza going number 1 overall and winning a Heisman before the year started. No one knew who he was. So, again, play the percentages, Swamp Ranger. I think the Jets are better equipped to get their quarterback, and the job is more attractive if new head coach comes in with 3 1s and gets to pick the quarterback they want to work with. Maybe we finally do what the other teams in the NFL have done, which is hire an offensive coach, or we actually hire someone with previous head coaching experience that has a resume, a la what the Giants are about to do when they hire Harbaugh. You know, what smart organizations do. Or what Kraft did when he admitted a mistake and hired Vrabel. That's why I think this is a good thing with the Dante Moore stuff. Stay in school. We'll get you next year with someone new, or we'll get someone else. But we're not crippling our franchise by making that level of investment in a guy who started 18 games. Again, if he lit it up against Indiana, maybe my opinion would definitely be different. And I'm not just judging him off that game, but the sample size is the sample size. Again, the list of quarterbacks that have been drafted that high, first-round guys. And this would be top 2, so this is even more significant than, Mac Jones, who was the 15th player picked his year. It's not good. Anthony Richardson, Trey Lance, Mac Jones, Kyler Murray, Dwayne Haskins, Mitch Trubisky, Ryan Tannehill, Cam Newton. You got to go back to Cam, who's retired. The last time a quarterback with fewer than 20 starts actually had some success. If you're watching live right now, hit the like button. Dante Moore is staying in school. Your call's coming up. Citybird says, McVay was relatively unknown and Kyle Shanahan was known for blowing 28-3. Who are your sources saying the next unknown guy the Jets can get? I'm not going to pretend like I know who the next unknown guy is. They're keeping Glenn. I think if you want to try and find, the next bright offensive guy, look at the teams that have the best offensive coaches. Why do you think the Jaguars OC, who's 30 years old, is getting interviews right now? That's where it starts. And this is what always worried me about Tanner Engstrand, who I can't sit here and tell you he's bad. I can't sit here and tell you he's good. I think it's a major unknown. But here's my concern with Engstrand in particular when it comes in terms of the Jets' offensive staff right now. If he was so good, why didn't Ben Johnson take him to Detroit with him? If he was so good, why didn't Dan Campbell stop Glenn from taking him with him to New York? Right? I mean, Dan Campbell outsourced his OC hire to replace Ben Johnson. He brought back John Morton, who was on Denver's staff, and then fired him. Took over play calling in the middle of the year, and he was out at the end of the year. If Tanner Engstrand was so good, why was he available for Glenn to take? And I think it's fair to bring that up because look at the other hires Aaron Glenn made. Steve Wilkes, an abject disaster. Charles London, Scott Turner, bad. The only good hire he made was the special teams coordinator, Banjo. And he gets credit for that. Chris Banjo was phenomenal. But again, where did Banjo come from? Who was he recommended by? Mike Westhoff, who's a confidant of Glenn. And Sean Payton, for that matter. Right? So, who are Glenn's contacts now around the league where he could try and get better assistants? Because if you want to be positive, Jet fans, again, I hope I'm wrong about this head coach, but I see the only way it works out is if he hires great assistants. Wink Martindale is not fixing the defense. All right? That is a retread who was not good his last few years with the Giants and was awful at Michigan. He's just trying to get back into the league. That's not fixing the defense. Who are the offensive guys that are coming here? And if you have to keep Engstrand, Brian Dable's not being a quarterback coach. Not happening. Cliff Kingsbury is not going to be a senior offensive assistant. That's the issue I think we have here. It's why I'm glad Moore's staying in school because we're not equipped to develop them. Dom says, Asman knows ball. I appreciate you tuned in, Dom. Please, someone do something in the raffle for 5. He references what I was just talking about. On his pod, Samini read the names of recent NFL QBs with less than 20 starts. Again, the list is terrible. And by the way, Tannehill needed development. It wasn't until he got to Tennessee when Matt LaFleur was his offensive coordinator that he started to play really good football. Jersey Mike, what I'm worried about is Glenn doesn't get his quarterback this year, so he gets another year to get his guy. I don't think you have to worry about that because if it's so bad this year, he's gone. He's gone. They won 3 games this year. Woody Johnson was reportedly pissed with the way the year ended, according to Rich Cimini on his podcast. I've heard there were some rumblings that it wasn't just a foregone conclusion that Glenn was coming back, by the way. That it wasn't just like, oh, yeah, he's back no matter what. There was conversations about what do they do. Now, Woody ultimately believes in the guy, which is a mistake. He's going to give him another year. But it wasn't just like, yeah, he's back no matter what. He gets to execute this long-term plan. Again, Aaron Glenn should be fired this second. Like, we're wasting our time. Look at the coaches available right now. Dumb. Who knows if we're going to have any chance to get as qualified a list of candidates that are available right now. And the job at its peak attractiveness right now. You got 5 ones over the next 2 years, $100 million in cap space over the next 2 years. This is the time to do it. The offensive line's already in place. You have a number 1 wide receiver, but he's not going to do it. So I think Dante Moore did us a favor by staying in school. Kevin says, get ready to learn Kyler. Honestly, he'd be probably a terrible fit with Glenn, but when you're desperate and you're trying to save your job, I could see Aaron Glenn bringing in Kyler Murray. Does he fit Tanner Engstrand's offense? No, he doesn't. Is he likely to get hurt like he has most years he's played? Yeah, look at it. Look at his size. But can I see the Jets being so desperate they make the move for Kyler? Absolutely. That's what you do when you're desperate. Sports Gerbil writes in. He's in the raffle for 2. I agree with Jake on Moore staying, but our only hope now is hoping the Raiders will accidentally write Mendoza's brother's name on the card. Yeah, I mean, forget it. Tyler says, so what's the plan? Punt on 26 and draft a QB in 27? I think they'll take someone this year, Tyler. But again, you could take a quarterback at 16, and if he's not the guy, you can move on from him immediately next year with 3 ones. You take a guy at 2, that complicates things. It's a huge financial commitment. And given where the Jets are right now and this coaching staff, punting on 2026 is kind of what was going to happen anyway, if we're being honest with ourselves. Who are they beating? Have you seen the schedule next year? They play the AFC West and they play the NFC North. Who are they beating with this head coach? Who? Tell me. Cleveland, Tennessee? Yeah, those are some wins right there. Maybe they split with Miami for once. Maybe. So, I'm not going to sit here and be that upset. This is the lowest I've ever been as a Jet fan. I have 0 expectations for next year. If anything, I think they're going to be terrible. Bang says, let's tank correctly in 2027. Let's learn from this. Bang, I don't know what more you wanted them to do. Let's tank correctly. Like, what type of dumbassery is tank correctly? You think they wanted to go 3-14? No, they were just horrible. They started 0-7. Tank correctly. They have the same record as the Raiders. The Jets can't help it that the strength of schedule gods favored the Las Vegas Raiders. All right, they both went 3-14, as did 2 other teams. There's only so much you could do. All right, you can't tell Nick Folk to miss that kick against Atlanta. So that comment is just infuriating because it's so silly. Big fellow with a super chat. This is great news. We would be overdrafting a kid who needed to sit. Draft Bane and his T-Rex arms. CJ Allen, Chambliss, and Brazel. Perfect draft. Again, I am fully on board with taking a great pass rusher at 2. It doesn't feel like there's like that Myles Garrett level pass rusher here or Will Anderson level pass rusher here, but I'm telling you, we could get good players. All right, we could get Arvell Reese. We can get David Bailey. We could take Cornell Tate and just try and dummy-proof our offense for whoever the quarterback is going to be. I don't love the idea of taking Caleb Downs at 2, but at least he's a damn good player. Again, let's not waste the number 2 pick is my big thing. We just sat through hell, Jet fans. So to reach on a quarterback just because, oh, we're there, that's dumb. That is dumb. That is not smart. And I don't trust the Jets to do the smart thing, which would have been the trade out of 2. So I'm glad that Moore went back to school. It's sad. It's sad that I have to be excited about a kid going back to school because I don't trust the team that I spend 4 hours a day talking about, living and dying with, to actually do the right thing and truly evaluate the prospect and not just reach because they're desperate. Actually have the best interest of the franchise in mind and not trying to cover their own ass. But that's where we're at. That's what happens when you keep a coach who has basically walked back every promise he made to us fans. Lou B, let's just put our odds of getting Malik to come. He would not want to be here with more in the shadows. Let's get Malik and 2 more guys behind. I don't know how I feel about Malik Willis. And I don't know if he'd come here, Lou. If Atlanta wants him, wouldn't he want to go there? Miami wants him. Or Pittsburgh. Wouldn't he want to go there? I think Malik Willis, first off, Malik Willis's quarterback coach in Tennessee was Charles London. So he's not coming here if London remains. Second off, even if he was open to it, if you're Malik Willis, is your one chance to go somewhere to prove you could be a starter, right? Like Justin Fields. He's never going to be a starter in the NFL again. Malik Willis has got one shot right now to pick a team that will give him a chance to start, and off we go. Is he picking the Jets? I don't think he is. Now, I could be wrong. Money talks. Maybe he just wants money. He wants to get paid. He was a day 2 pick. I think he was a 3rd-round pick when he was picked out of Liberty by Tennessee. But I'm not convinced that that's where the Jets would pivot to. I think get ready to learn Kirk Cousins or Kyler Murray is my early prediction. Almighty Howard in the raffle for 2. Jake, your thoughts on getting someone like Carnell Tate and potentially getting Malik Willis? Also, would you take a shot on John Mateer or Ty Simpson with our late one? Yeah, look, if they could trade out of the Colts pick, move down, and then take someone like Simpson, I'm in. I don't like Mateer as much as I like Chambliss. But, yeah, I think that's definitely in play. Spencer Green says we're trading all picks for Burrow and Jamar Chase. Lock it in. Spencer, check your head for brain damage. Swamp Ranger writes in. Allen was right again. Maybe take him serious. Yeah, look, I mean, he stayed in school. Allen was, in fact, correct about that. I do wonder if the Jets had a real offensive coach, is Moore staying in school? Like, people will say, oh, no, it had nothing to do with the Jets. He wants to go back and get development. Yeah, you can't tell me it had nothing to do with the Jets, though. I don't know. I'm glad he's staying in school. Again, I think it's actually a good thing. So I'm glad Allen was correct on this one. Bang Mateo. Woody was pissed at AG, but did nothing. Come on. That's what I said, Bang. AJ says, only way to fix this team is to disband. Well, you can't do that. Nick in the house. We needed the draft Tate and Sonny in the first. If they came away with Carnell Tate and Sonny Styles, I'm in. Dom C has Sonny Styles as his 4th overall rated prospect in his draft guide. Carnell Tate's number 8 for him. Tate's my favorite wide receiver. I get the appeal of Jordan Tyson, but Jordan Tyson has had a lot of injuries, man. I get weary of a guy who's been injured a lot in college. You don't just magically get healthier typically when you get to the NFL. Joe the Jet says Carson Beck at 33 confirmed. I think that's a little too rich from Joe, but time will tell. All right, let's get to some calls. Gusbuster Umbrella Hotline's the place to be. Reminder, if you ever miss a live YouTube show, we do podcast everything on either Apple or Spotify, so you can listen back to anything you might have missed there. Appreciate all of you being tuned in. We're giving away a signed Joe Klecko helmet on the show today, so make sure you enter the raffle. We'll give you this show and the show tomorrow for your chance to enter and get on the raffle wheel for that. On that note, let's get to some calls, shall we? First up today is Victor, who starts it off. Hello, Victor.
Hey, what's up, Jake? I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I can't help but feel like this is a really good thing. Um, if we would have took more, like I've been vouching for more, but I started catching myself vouching for him because I just think it's our turn to find our franchise guy. Like it's gonna happen eventually. Like it's gonna come when we least expect it. And I looked at everybody down on this kid, and I was like, that's gonna be the one. Like he's gonna be the one. But now that he's not coming out, we could take 2 defensive players. Next year is going to be Julian Sayin. Lenore Sellers looks good. He just, like Moore, he needed another year. What's his name? Arch Manning, and now Moore. But we're gonna have we won't find ourselves in a situation where we have to be desperate and just take whoever's there for us. Now we can actually evaluate, take the best player. And if we don't take a wide receiver right now, I would go defense. I would go Ruben Bain, Sonny Styles, go sign Romeo Dubs. He won't cost that much. You pair him with Garrett Wilson. Then next year, if you take Julian Sayin, Wherever the Colts and Dallas picks at, maybe we could get Jeremiah Smith, pair him with him, and like build it. Glenn now is forced. If your team, I don't know about Aaron Glenn. Now he's forced to get a veteran quarterback who can actually win, who can actually play, win you some games. He's gonna get evaluated in a situation where it's like, okay, there's no excuse now. You don't have a Brady Cook. You don't have a rookie quarterback that is trying to figure it out like you are. Now, if you get him, what's his name? Let's say we get Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray has proven that he can win in this league. He might not be the best quarterback in this league, but you don't always need the best quarterback to win the Super Bowl to even make the playoffs. Right now, we shouldn't worry about the Super Bowl. We should just worry about winning games because we have 3 picks. And if we need to use one of them to move up next year, it is what it is, you know? And then next year, what if Mike Tomlin, I don't think it'll ever happen, but what if Mike Tomlin was like, you know what? They got 3 first-round picks. They'll probably need one to trade for me. If we get Mike Tomlin, now Peyton and Eli and them are looking at Archie like, all right, I could see you going to the Jets now because they have a grown up in the room now.
Yeah.
They have someone that you can trust that when you walk to the podium, you're not like, oh, I don't know if this guy's the one. You know, like if you suck, it's because you suck, not because Mike Tomlin. Like they what's his name? Aaron Glenn was talking about he wasn't coached properly. He went 4-2 with him, and he still benched him.
Yeah.
And then when he came over here, it's like that first game, we thought we had Lamar Jackson, and then I don't know. You just don't go from what you did in game 1 to completely falling off. You know, like I don't believe in Justin Fields. I wanted him over Zach Wilson, and I still feel like I was right because he wasn't as bad as Zach Wilson. You know, and Sam Darnold, I can say everyone always wants to point out where they were right. I'm gonna point out where I was wrong with Sam Darnold. I didn't think it could get worse, you know, and it got worse. You know, when you try to get too cute, it got worse. And I don't want to get too cute this year. I don't know. I could be wrong, but I don't want to grab Arvell Reese because those hybrid linebackers, they could be Micah Parsons or they could be Isaiah Simmons. You know, that's why Ruben Bain, I feel like he's a safe pick at that position we're gonna be in.
Well, I'll tell you what, Victor. Good call to start us off. The reality is there is a massive debate on what to do at 2, but I think the Jets have a legitimate chance to get a really good football player at 2 that has a way higher hit rate than what Dante Moore would be with his coaching staff. That's how you got to look at it. We could debate Ruben Bain. We could debate David Bailey. We could debate all these guys. And I look forward to doing it. I'll be at the Senior Bowl in a few weeks. I'll be at the Combine this year for the 3rd straight year. You know, we could debate Reese and Bailey and Bain and Tate and which receiver. I'm excited. I'm just glad that we don't have to worry about the Jets reaching on a quarterback because they're desperate and not doing what's in the best interest of their franchise. Now, the first point you make, I think, is spot on. Mike Tomlin has instant credibility for the Jets if he sits out, which it feels like he's going to, and he's the top guy. You want Arch Manning to say, I'll actually play for the Jets? You hire someone established like Mike Tomlin so Peyton and Eli know their nephew is going to a team that actually is being properly run. Like, again, you need credibility. The Jets have none of it. Maybe Aaron Glenn's a great coach this year and they'll have credibility, but like, we got to be realistic. So ultimately, I like the idea of building the team, having our 3-1s next year, hiring the right coach to oversee the development of the major investment we make in QB. Or maybe they do sign Willis and we're all surprised how awesome he is, and then we go from there. Or Ty Simpson's really good, and we go from there. Those scenarios could still happen, but investing in Dante Moore and trusting the Jets to develop a kid with 18 career starts, I don't see that working out. Kyler Murray might be the best option. I could deal with Murray for a year, and that doesn't preclude me from then getting my guy in 27. Like, these are better options than reaching at 2. Sean with a super chat. Chambliss is special. Get him with a second. Look, Mel Kiper thinks he's going to be a first-round guy. Maybe the Jets would move back into the end of round 1 to get him. Kevin says that rope is getting harder to not let go of.
Just don't let go of the rope.
Don't let go, baby. Aaron Glenn's got a plan. When asked what that plan is, it was simple. Trust me, bro.
And I know it's hard to say. Just trust me, have faith in what we're doing.
That's the plan. More of your calls. Derek, the Kansas Jet fan, is next. What's up, Derek? Derek, we can't hear you. Your mic is muted. Call back, Derek. We'll get you on. Steven is up next. Hello, Steven.
Hey, Jake. I'm in the Joe Beningo age era of the Jets. So when you guys...
We are mama way.
I see.
So I've seen all the horror that Joe's seen. You guys say it's been 15 years since we made the playoffs. No, it's been 58 years since we won anything. So let's be honest. What is stopping the Jets right now, or Woody Johnson right now, from picking up the phone and calling Mike Tomlin and say, hey, Mike, $20 million a year, come to the team and fire Aaron Glenn? What is stopping them from doing that? Because Mike Tomlin will instantly make this team better. They would make the right draft choices. What is stopping Woody Johnson from doing that?
Well, Woody Johnson's a horrible owner. I mean, that's the bottom line. When have the Jets made the right decision? When have they been proactive? When have they actually owned up to a mistake and moved forward and done the right thing for their fans?
Because what you said about Aaron Glenn is so spot on. I loved him as a player. I've seen him. He was great. He just can't coach, and we can't move on like this. I can't. Being a fan, as long as I've been, I tell you right now, I'm so ambivalent about them right now. I have zero faith in anything they're going to do. Dante Moore doesn't matter. They need to get rid of Aaron Glenn immediately. Right now. Call Mike Tomlin. $20 million a year, bro. Come coach my team. Call John Harbaugh. $20 million a year. Come coach my team. He's got all the money in the world. This fan base deserves some sort of reason to root. I'm so goddamn tired of this shit. I'm tired of it. All the way from the Gastineau roughing the passer until today. I can't do it anymore. Jake, please use all your influence. Make some calls. Do something. Call, I don't know, call somebody, because I can't take it anymore, Jake. And I thank you for being on every day and kind of calming me down, because I'm 65 years old. How much longer can I wait, man? How much freaking longer?
I get it, Steven.
Wait anymore, man.
I get it. Great call. Look, again, I think you speak for how most fans feel at this point. We're just wasting our time with this head coach. Unfortunately, he's going to be here. I will root for him to prove me wrong and be successful. But I'm also going to be realistic until I see evidence of a plan that makes sense and actual results on the field. I'm going to be skeptical. I think you should be as a Jet fan. But I think today is a blessing in disguise. Now, Alex says, would I trade the Colts pick for Tomlin? In a second. I'd trade the number 2 pick for Tomlin. People thought I was nuts saying that. Why? I still have the Colts pick. I still have 2 other picks at 33 and 44 this year, and I have 3 first-rounders next year. I need a coach. You want to get Arch Manning to actually want to play for the Jets a year from now? You hire Mike Tomlin, he will. That's my point. And again, I don't know if the Jets could get Tomlin and he's going to take a year off, or Harbaugh, same thing. You might want to go somewhere else. But there's so many other good candidates. The resume of Harbaugh and McCarthy is the same thing. I'll take a chance on Stefanski, 2-time coach of the year, offensive guy. Let him pick the quarterback he wants to work with. Again, at least like we'd be headed in the right direction. So it is what it is. I think Glenn's here for another year, but I think today is a very good day for the Jets. It's a good day for the Jets' long-term future. Unfortunately, we're going to have to wait till probably the 2020 season at the earliest to see the results of what today means. It's kind of how it feels. Let's get to more of your calls. Derek is next. Hello, Derek.
Hey, brother, man. How we doing?
What's up, Derek?
Not much, buddy. I just want to say I think you make a lot of good points. Just about everything you were saying, I agree with a lot. my skepticism number 2 overall pick. I think Aaron Glenn is definitely gonna get a veteran in here. I could be wrong. He's got to win games. I'm sure he has to know that his seat is hotter than you know what. I think I'd rather trade back, like out of the 2 spot, maybe with the Cardinals or the Browns, if they are desperate enough for a quarterback, and try and build more around the team. We got 3 firsts next year. If we need to trade up and get a guy, I'd much rather kind of go that route. And I do love Bain and Tate, but I think Aaron Glenn's so desperate for wins. If maybe Malik Willis or Kyler Murray don't want to come, I think he's gonna maybe reach out for a quarterback, because he knows he has to win now, because he knows his job is on the line if he doesn't win games next year. So I just kind of want to get some of your thoughts on that.
Yeah, again, I think you're spot on as far as like what this means and the opportunity the Jets now have to build out the team. I think the quarterback situation, I mean, they're going to be probably more aggressive than they were thinking that maybe they had to be for a proven vet who could at least get through a season if need be. So Murray, Cousins, a different veteran that could become available in the trade. Those are some of the names that you're going to hear constantly, and it makes sense. Malik Willis, potentially, they believe in him. I'd be very wary of him, though.
Yeah.
That's kind of where this is headed now. And then they probably will take a swing on someone either with the Colts pick or with one of their 2 second-round picks.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. If we do go out and get like a Cousins or Murray, or maybe a trade for a Mac Jones, which I'm not really a fan of, do you have a preference on any veteran quarterback if we do go that route?
I like Cousins. I think he's stable. I think he's, he was better coming off the Achilles. He's at least a professional. If you draft someone behind Kirk Cousins, I think he'll be a good teammate to that guy. Whereas Kyler Murray's playing for his career, and he's at a different stage of his career than Cousins would be. So I'm intrigued by that. The options aren't good, though. I don't want to sit here and like put lipstick on a pig like the Glenn bootlickers do with this coach. Right. The options aren't great. I'm not expecting much next year. You would have to have a phenomenally coached team to overachieve what the expectations for the Jets would be going into next year. So let's just kind of see what they do. Hopefully they just hit on the non-quarterback picks they make and signings they make, and you build up the team, and we have 3 wins in 2027.
Yeah, I'm completely with you there. Just try and take the most talented player that you can with a great ceiling. Maybe as an edge rusher or receiver, I'd really like that. If we don't trade back, which I can't emphasize enough how much I would love to trade back, just get some more draft capital in case Glenn is gone next year, just build up around the team. But I fear that Glenn has to win now. And I think he might reach out a quarterback at 2. I don't know if him and Mucci are aligned in that mindset, but heck yeah, I appreciate your thoughts on it, man.
You got it, Derek. Appreciate you, and congrats on winning that Curtis Martin signed helmet.
Hey, thanks, brother. I appreciate it so much. I hope you and the rest of the Asmaniacs have a wonderful day, guys. Go Jets.
Derek checking in. Love it. Keep rolling with the calls. Jets Jesus is next. Hello, Jets Jesus.
All right, I'm off mute. I was almost on mute for this. All right. I've been trying to figure out what this feels like. It feels like a snow day on a day that I didn't do my homework and had a test. And I woke up and I'm like, oh shit, we got a foot of snow out here and I don't have school. Now, do I trust Woody Johnson to do his homework and study for the test? I don't know about that. But for right now, I'm excited and it feels good. I've wanted a quarterback, one of the quarterback in the second or maybe the third. And I hope that's what the case is now. One of the other things that I'm really hoping is when Muji traded Sauce and traded Quinnen, we all were like, great, this team's going to focus on offense. And I hope that's still the case with this draft. I know that there's a lot of issues on defense. We'll see who they bring in at defensive coordinator. If I put on my green shaded glasses, I'm hoping that Glenn got so caught up in this is my first year as a head coach. I need to bring in somebody with experience. And he had a relationship with Wilkes and he was available. And that kind of led him to making a poor decision. Maybe he makes a better one this time, and it's somebody that aligns with what he does on defense. And we're not sitting here in the offseason like we did last offseason and going, wow, Wilkes' defense is completely different than Glenn's defense. I wonder what's going on and how they're going to solve this thing. and he makes a wiser decision. But my biggest thing is I really hope that they focus on offense. If they trade back, great, get more picks, but give me that wide receiver.
Yeah, again, I am on board fully with still trying to trade down if you can. Jets Jesus, good call. It's a lot harder now because teams typically trade up for QBs, but we did see a trade last year, right? Travis Hunter wasn't a quarterback. He was unique, two-way player, right? So that was a trade inside the top 5. I think it was 6-2 Jacksonville did with Cleveland. So you do sometimes see it. It makes it a little more difficult. But again, the Jets should be able to find a damn good player at 2. That's the focus. We can debate who, but we could debate that all offseason now. Today is once again a good thing because Dante Moore staying in school means this organization, this head coach who's on the hot seat, can't be forced into making a bad decision that's not in the best interest of the Jets' long-term plan. And taking a quarterback who's 20 years old, who's super talented, but only has 18 starts in college, that's not the move. That's not a number 2 pick. But the Jets would be desperate to get a quarterback. They'd be inclined to take him. You can't do it. And look, Dante Moore turned down a lot of money, but if he ends up being a great NFL player, and let's say he doesn't go number 2 next year, but he still goes in the first round and gets a second contract, it could work out for him too. But I really thought he still would declare because I just think we're talking about a lot of money. I get it. He'll get a lot of money in NIL for a year, but, look what happened to Drew Aller at Penn State. The next year, I mean, at least on paper going in, it feels like it'll be a lot better QB class. Arch, Sayin, I didn't even mention last time I talked about these guys. Jaden Mayava, the USC quarterback, went back to school. Sellers, maybe Brendan Sorsby has a big year. I know Darian Mensah, the Duke quarterback, people are high on. There'll be options next year. We got to deal with one more year of this, but again, I'd rather take our big swing next year with a different head coach than take our big swing with Aaron Glenn and a quarterback who has started 18 games and is 20 years old and needs to be coached. And Mr. Accountability is not the guy to coach him up. He's not.
Coaching. It's coaching. Because he can do it. It's just coaching. That's all it is.
This is the same guy that drafted Arian Smith in the 4th round, who was a UDFA level player and then wanted to gloat about it because he had a good training camp practice.
I just feel like it seemed like Arian Smith was making some plays today and getting open. Like, how happy are you with his progress?
The guy that can't catch. What you guys say?
He had 7 catches this year, Coach. 7.
What do you look for in a quarterback? Like, what's an Aaron Glenn quarterback?
A winner.
Let's sign Justin Fields, who was 14-30 as a starter, the worst winning percentage of any starter who has started that many games. By the way, Fields now 16-37 after some tremendous coaching this year. More calls right now. Let's say hello to Steven, who's next. Hey, Steven.
How you doing, Jake?
What's up, Steve?
Just first, it's so funny that you just said, and this is you say blessing in disguise, I say best case scenario possibly. I just like the way you threw in just now, blessing in disguise. I'd much rather let our new coach pick his own quarterback next year. Like it's already a fait accompli.
I mean, again, I hope I'm wrong. I'm just not going to sit here and lie to my audience that I think this coach is going to turn it around when I don't.
I know. Listen, you and I are very similar. You and I always agree. I agree, but we're still rooting for him, and there's no chance that we give him no chance to be good next year, right? Like we're definitely rooting for him, correct? And there's not a 0% chance. Do you agree?
Yeah, it's not 0, but okay. I think
So there's a chance.
There's definitely a chance if that's what you want to hear.
Listen, who knows? We could draft Matthew Schaefer.
Look, if there was the football version of Matthew Schaefer in this draft, the Jets need to find that guy and take him immediately.
I know you're a Ranger fan, right?
Islander fan.
No, you are right. I forgot. I was confusing you and Matt. He's also a big Islander fan. Is he unbelievable? I know we're talking Jets, but is Matthew Schaefer, like, first of all, what a kid. What a great guy. Like, this is the home run of all home runs. He's who you want your kids to idolize, correct? As an athlete, that's all. We'll just go from there. The only thing that isn't perfect is what would not have happened. We wanted Dante Moore there, and we didn't want to have to pick him, and we would have gotten more capital to trade down. That's the only downside here. But I don't necessarily trust that if he was coming out, that we actually wouldn't have picked him, which was the right idea. So that's the only thing that I'm disappointed. You want more quarterbacks that are, that people are going to want, and then we would trade down. But no one was guaranteed that we would do the right thing, which is trade down. So I'm a little relieved. When you say blessing in disguise, I think we're saying the same thing. We're relieved that we don't have to hope they don't make that bad decision.
Right.
Is that correct?
100%, Steve. We are. I am relieved because I don't trust the Jets and their head coach and GM, who know their jobs are on the line, to properly, unbiasedly evaluate Moore and recognize that while he might be good, he's not worth the second pick in the draft, but the Jets would feel inclined to take him anyway. It's sad that that's why I'm relieved about this, that I don't trust the Jets to do the right thing, do the evaluation, to make the best decision, whether it be taking him or trading out. We took the decision off the table for them to make. And now, at number 2, you have a litany of options in this draft. And you have the 16th pick if you want to take a quarterback there in a low-risk scenario. Or you have pick 33 and pick 44 to take a chance on a QB. Or maybe you use pick 33 and you trade back into the first round so you get the 5th-year option on a Trinidad Chambliss or Ty Simpson if they're there, if you believe in them. That's what the Ravens did with Lamar Jackson. What the Vikings did with Teddy Bridgewater. The Giants just did it last year with Dart. Took a great player at 3 in Carter and then moved back into round 1 for Dart. I feel better about that being the strategy than take Dante Moore at 2, given the Jets' current coaching staff, history of not knowing how to develop a quarterback, and specifically just the overwhelming data that quarterbacks taken that high who have that few starts in college don't work out. 18 starts. Recent first-round quarterbacks with less than 20 starts. It's a terrible list. Richardson, Lance, Jones, Murray, Haskins, Trubisky, Tannehill, Newton. You got to go back to Cam the last time it panned out. That's where we're at. Barbara Lomo says, Moore just paid $40 million to not play for AG. I feel bad for Ty Simpson. I don't think it was just Jet related, but I'm not going to sit here and be naive to think that part of the appeal of going back to school is he doesn't have to play for the Jets. I'm not going to sit here and act like just because I'm a Jet fan that wasn't part of his decision. I think that was the biggest thing, though. I don't. I think Dante Moore, from what I understand, he knew he needed more development. He talked about it after they lost the playoff game last week. You know, this is the guy that took a redshirt year after he transferred from UCLA, voluntarily went to be Dylan Gabriel's backup last year. He's a mature kid, from what I understand and what I've heard. But I won't sit here and say you're wrong for saying that, Barbara. I mean, I'm sure the fact the Jets are there at 2 and you know, it's not Kyle Shanahan and the Niners or, Ben Johnson just took a job somewhere and they have the second pick. Like, I'm sure that's part of it. We have Jet royalty in the house. Connie Carberg, the first ever female scout in NFL history and someone who should be in the Pro Football Hall of Fame and in the Jets Ring of Honor. She's watching the show. Totally agree with you, Jake. Now we watch the All-Star game. Back in the championship and a bunch of QBs at the Combine. Absolutely, Connie. Absolutely. We'll see if Trinidad Chambliss' medical red shirt is denied after the appeal here. And if it is, he's an option in the draft as well. Derek, the Jet fan, who just called in the raffle for one. He's the first to gift a membership today, and we're an hour in. Thank you, Derek. His super chat. Forgot to ask if Beck or Chambliss fall to 44 if you're a fan of it. Chambliss, yes. Beck, I need to watch more. Shout out to you, Jake, and the community. Y'all are awesome. Thank you, Derek. You're the man. Great call earlier. Zedward in the house. After an epically bad season, a head coach But after having an epically bad season a head coach could have, and Woody kept him, no wonder you're staying in school. He's hating on. Okay, so a little broken English here, but Edward is saying we had this nightmare season, but we kept Glenn. No wonder Moore is avoiding the Jets. I'm sure that's part of it. I don't think that's the biggest thing, though, personally. But I'm sure that's part of it. Mike Perez in the raffle for 2. Mike Tomlin and Arch Manning, 2027. Print the T-shirts, baby.
We're the freaking New York Jets, so we're shit.
Print. More calls right now. Joe is next. Hey, Joe.
Hey, Jake. How you doing?
What's up, Joe?
Hey, it's been a while, but I just wanted to call. I've got 2 things for you. You always say how bad or what does Aaron Glenn do well?
Mm-hmm.
He loses. And 2027 is hopefully our year to get that quarterback. But no, I'm just on a positive note, though. Seriously, though, I'm really glad that Moore went back. I'm really relieved, really. When I heard that news, I was like, oh my gosh, this is great. Because I just feel like what you've been pretty much talking about the last almost week is we're going to be forcing him to go in too early. They're not on the same page when it comes to where the Jet organization should be and where Aaron Glenn will be. And so this is a huge relief because I was really thinking this is going to be Sam Darnold 2.0. So anyway, that's all I really got. But I just it's been a while since I've called in. I just wanted to say hello and appreciate you and all your hard work. And there's hopefully a light at the end of the tunnel now because of him going back. So
let's hope, Joe. Appreciate you, man. Great call. Love this sweater, by the way. That's an awesome Jets hoodie you had on. Let's hope, man. Let's hope. Again, this doesn't mean the Jets are going to figure it out. I think it eliminates them from doing what I believe would be a mistake, reaching on a prospect to try and save someone's job. That's where I'm at. More of your calls right now. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time.
Adam is cool, although kind of basic. He claims he's too cool, though often quite basic. He makes great jet points, looks a little basic. Adam is cool, too cool, but basic. Some would say generic.
Hey, Jake. Glad you've calmed down a little bit.
I mean, I'm just relieved, I guess, more than anything.
Yeah, I mean, I like what the other caller said. Like, we can actually pay attention to some other positions now and not be like obsessed for the next 3-4 months on, oh my God, are we going to get this particular QB? So, yeah, more content for the content creators for sure now. So I think that's really good news.
It makes the offseason more fun as far as, all the different positions we'll break down and debate.
Yeah, and also I think there was some musical chairs thing going on. It just feels like Dante Moore was missing a chair in the musical chairs, and now he had to go back to Oregon. They took Dylan Raiola to be, I don't know if they brought him in just to be the backup. It's a very interesting choice by Oregon to throw all that money in the QB position when only one guy can really play it, and both of them have NFL aspirations. So, that's an Oregon problem, I suppose. But I thought that was very telling, very interesting. Maybe there was another place that Moore was looking to go to, and it didn't work out.
I think he was coming back to Oregon the whole time. It was just a matter of, what was his NIL going to be? I think he was truly on the fence. Like, I don't think he was ever going to leave. Why would they move on from him? He's better than Raiola.
Yeah, but I think every year they're shuffling in QBs. So a name that's not on your list yet, and just a name to put on the bottom of the watch list is Josh Hoover, because he'll be the next Indiana QB that's going to be thrust into the system, and see if he talk about big shoes to fill. How the heck is he going to measure up to Mendoza? It's a whole other story, but keep an eye on him. He was a very productive quarterback at TCU, and he's entering a very good system, unless Cignetti somehow takes the job at Pittsburgh. I've heard some crazy stories about that. But I think that's highly unlikely.
Yeah, good call, Adam. I think Cignetti's staying at Indiana. I do. I think if you were to leave for an NFL job, wouldn't you go to Las Vegas? Right? And Coach Mendoza, if he were to leave, and I don't think he will. Ryad said, Jake, who'd be your top 3 guys to start week 1? Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Just realistic or my dream? I mean, look, I think we're going to end up with like Kirk Cousins or Kyler Murray. I do. I think we're going to be disappointed, but we got to see the bigger picture. Like, if a year of Kirk Cousins means we're still able to surround the roster with some talent and then hopefully get a real head coach to make the big decision at quarterback in 2027, I could live with it. I don't want the Jets to do something dumb, though, where like, Dante Moore stayed in school, so here's Ty Simpson second overall. Like, I don't think that will happen. God, I hope that doesn't happen. I think there's a good chance it's a Cousins, a Mac Jones in a trade, a Jacoby Brissett in a trade, Marcus Mariota free agent signing. Look, the options at quarterback. Look at the list of free agent QBs. There's this guy named Aaron Rodgers who's available. I'm sure he'd love to come back. Carlos in the raffle for 2. Moore's continuing his education. Then I agree with you, Jake. And Nick said building the foundation on a rookie QB. We could pick up Chambliss in the second. What do you think? I mean, when we say he's continuing his education, are we kidding with that? He's going back to school because he's probably being paid $7 to $8 million to stick around. He doesn't have to play for the Jets, and he started 18 games. He needs more seasoning. He's making a mature decision, a risky one. But again, like the last part, yeah, Chambliss is definitely in play. Now, some people think he's going to be a first-round guy. Kuiper said today he thinks he's going to go in the first round. It's probably more likely he goes in the first round now, with Moore ultimately staying in school. Because, Mendoza will go 1. You'll have Ty Simpson go in the first round. I think Chambliss might go in the first round too. We'll see. More of your calls right now, ladies and gentlemen. Up next on the Gus Buster Umbrella Hotline is...
Chuck Wagon's always cooking, which it takes. Chuck Wagon's even cooking at the game. Chuck Wagon hates McDonald's, but he's headed home to cook. It's time once again for Chuck Wagon.
Yeah, these definitely smell like ketchup, so good choice, Beantown. Thank you. Listen, I feel
Boomtown.
Boomtown, thank you. I feel like this really makes things more complicated than it should. I don't know how we're going to trade back. I mean, there's only 3 teams. Yeah, they're not. I mean, there's no one that's going to want to trade up.
Take a great player at 2. We'll be okay. Are the Jets a better football team with Bain, Cornell Tate, or insert whatever player helping them right away? Or are they better off with an unproven draft prospect quarterback who's made 18 career starts in college?
You don't think Falk is not as good as Bain?
Who?
From Falk, the edge from Auburn. He's 6'6". Bain's 6'3". Wouldn't you want the bigger guy?
I don't even know who the defensive coordinator is right now. So what system are they running? I don't think Falk is as good as Bain, Reese, or Bailey, personally. I'm not going to sit here and say that's concrete opinion, though.
You don't. I think it was your first call that I thought we should go defense. I totally disagree with that. We absolutely need at least one offensive player in the first round. You probably agree with that. At least one of each, or at least 2 offensive players, not defense.
I think you just want to get really good players. I don't know if I have a strict. Was that really necessary to eat mid phone call?
I had a taste. It was bothering me. It's just the smell. Salty. Really salty.
I'm happy for you, Chuck Wagon. I really am.
Anyways, like I said, I would.
I don't think it needs to be a concrete, hey, we need to take offense or defense. You got to hit on the picks. Build your team. You can't tell me if the Jets came away with Arvell Reese, and then Mekhi Lemon, we wouldn't be excited as Jet fans. You know, you have needs everywhere. Now, do I prefer offense? I do, because I think that's where the league is going. And I think better coaching can fix your defense quicker than offense. But I'm open to everything. I'm just relieved that they can't pick Dante Moore because, you know, I thought he'd be more ready than he was. And then when I started really looking at like the research of guys who made 20 or less starts, it's like I don't think the Jets are equipped to be the team to try and take an outlier. So I'm okay with it. I really am. There's a lot of good edge rushers in here. Dom C's draft guide. His number 1 rated edge is Bain from Miami. We'll watch him in the national title game. Reese is 2. Bailey, who was a Red Raider at Texas Tech, he was 3. Bailey will be at the Senior Bowl, so I'll get a chance to watch him in person in 2 weeks. So I'm looking forward to that. We'll be debating Bain because of his arm length. That will be a popular draft topic people will weigh in on. I don't know. One of my good friends went to Texas Tech. He swears by Bailey, so I like him too. He was very impressive in that playoff game against Dante Moore a couple weeks ago. All right, let's get to more of your calls. I just want to thank the audience for being here. I know being a Jet fan is tough. We just went through a nightmare season, but you guys are still tuned into the show. We got 800 people in here live, thousands after the fact. So, again, thanks to everyone for being here. You guys are the best. We're going to give away a signed Joe Klecko helmet on the show. So make sure you enter the raffle if you want to win that. Gift the membership to enter or send in a $10 super chat or higher to qualify. More of your calls right now. Our next guest is a man who sucks at golf.
Can you guys hear me, Jake?
Nope.
So let's talk about the Dante Moore decision. So I think it was a very smart decision for Dante Moore to go back to college, and here's the reason. So there are really a lot of quarterbacks who have less than 18 career starts. Trey Lance is like the most recent example. I've been terrible. And then why would you want to play for the Jets with Aaron Glenn's the coach? You know, talk about the second point. Why the Jets not fire Aaron Glenn? We have this is the best coaching cycle in the NFL. Recently, Mike Tomlin stepped down from the Steelers. Why don't we just get Mike Tomlin? He's a more experienced coach. I would trade 2 first-round picks to get Mike Tomlin. But honestly, you know what Woody Johnson probably did this morning? He probably hugged Aaron Glenn, you know.
What do you think that looked like?
Oh, he's like this. He goes like, "Oh, I love you. I love you so much, Aaron Glenn. You're the best."
You think he says, "I love you so much, Aaron Glenn"?
Yeah, I said, "I love you so much, Aaron Glenn. You're the best coach ever." Really, but really, he sucks. You know, this is the only good thing Aaron Glenn's good at. The only good thing, the salsa dancing. Oh man, that show is good, Jake. You know, we got the most pro. We got a pro Glenn guy and Ricky, New York Jets Live. You know, he's very pro Glenn. You know, honestly, Ricky, if you're on the show, I have a question for you. What does Aaron Glenn do well? And then this is for everyone else in the chat who the Aaron Glenn bootlickers. What does Aaron Glenn do well as a head coach? He hasn't done one thing, okay?
He's better at golf than you are.
That's one thing. That could be one thing he's better at. John Dodreski's son's a better golfer than me. That's for sure. Oh, man. Honestly, guys, I'm going to go live tomorrow night to talk about the Dante.
What are you guys' opinion on me doing a backflip through this orange wall?
Nice try, Mad Max, trying to shamelessly plug your show. Not up in here. Go subscribe to Mad Max's channel, everyone. Big Fella says, I know it's not fair, but after drafting Golston, I want no part of Reese. Scares the hell out of me, draft Bain. You got to scout the player, not the helmet, Big Fella. I know what you're saying. We all don't want the next Vernon Golston. But just because a guy played at Ohio State and Vernon Golston was a bust, that doesn't mean that Reese would be a bust. I like Bain too. The arm stuff, I don't subscribe to. The guy's a football player. Now, I also really like David Bailey, though. He's a 3-4 edge. We don't know the scheme the Jets are going to be playing because we don't have a defensive coordinator yet. So I think that's part of this too. But that's also why, again, I don't want to beat the dead horse here. Why it's like it's tough to retain this coaching staff because, like, if you take someone specifically because you know you're going to run this scheme, you know, a year from now, if you have a different head coach, you know, does that make your player not as effective? I don't know. Point is, you should be able to find a really good football player at 2 who's adaptable to multiple schemes. So that shouldn't be the biggest of concerns. Ian says we cannot go Bain. We already have edge rushers. Respectfully, do we? I like Jermaine Johnson. He had a terrible year. I think he'll be better next year, another year removed from the Achilles. We sure Will McDonald's as good as we think? I mean, I think he's better than what we got this year. But the big issue I think I have as a Jet fan when we look at the defense, they obviously need talent. They're devoid of talent in some key areas. We know how bad the safety situation is, for example. But, like, Jamie and Sherwood just forgot how to play football. Like, Quincy Williams was just this bad. Like, no one was good with this coaching staff, and Wilkes already was fired. Right? And, like, again, Aaron Glenn said this about Will McDonald.
Coaching. It's coaching. Because he can do it. It's just coaching. That's all it is.
Like, it was all about coaching, and they were going to coach guys up. That was a theme all summer. And no one got better. Like, Wink Martindale is going to unlock these guys? I don't know. Aaron Glenn talking about Arian Smith, who should have been drafted in the 7th round, not the 4th.
I just feel like it seemed like Arian Smith was making some plays today and getting open. Like, how happy are you with his progress?
The guy that can't catch. What you guys say?
You know, that's the problem with all this. Just get really good football players with high floors so who's ever here in the future can work with them. That's kind of where I'm at. Calvin is up next. We'll keep it rolling with all your calls on the show. Appreciate everyone tuned into a breaking news. Dante Moore staying in school live stream here. What's up, Calvin?
Yo, what's going on, man? Listen, I'm going straight to this, man, because this is bothering me. Why is it that we didn't have a good year and we suck, right? Mm-hmm. Why is it that all of a sudden Stephen A. Smith and all these rest of these clowns on SportsCenter, First Take, wherever, all want to put the Jets name and let it be known that, oh, you should stay in school and stuff like that, because who wants to get drafted by the Jets? Tom Miche talking about, I spoke with 200 athletes who don't want the Jets to pick them and stuff like that. Like, really? You that good as a reporter that you could speak to 200 players that's all sat there and mysteriously told you that that nobody wants to play for the Jets? I'm tired of this. Tennessee last year sucked. I didn't hear not one person sat there and mentioned, you know what, Cam Ward should stay at school because who wants to play for Tennessee? The Raiders has fired 6 coaches and owes them over $50 million. And they're looking for a coach again. I don't hear nobody telling them, oh, Mendoza, you should stay in school because you don't want to be drafted by the Raiders. Oh, I forgot. Brady owns the team, so we're not gonna besmirch them. This is getting tiring, and I'm sorry. I'm gonna continue to sit there and say this. I blame all the fans that go out there and spend their hard-earned money on this product, because the only way you're gonna get the point to Woody is if you stop supporting the team and start hurting his bottom line and let him know that he's got to do better. The year that where there's coaches available, a legitimate coach that we could go get, we're going to do another year with AG. Are we kidding me? Are you kidding me right now? A whole year, another year with AG, and a year we could go get a coach? That's all I got to say. I'm sorry. I'm trying to keep it PG for your show.
I love the passion, Calvin. Have you called before? You look like a first-time caller.
I'm a first-time caller. I discovered you about a year ago or stuff like that. I did. I'm on your I support your show, but I am a first-time caller.
Well, I'll tell you what. I got you in the raffle for 2. Email me when you get done with this call, asmanjake@gmail, your address and t-shirt size. I want to send you some merch. Great call, man. Love the passion.
Appreciate you, man. Thank you.
You got it, Calvin. Look, he's right. And look, the problem is the McShays of the world and Stephen A. The Jets are an easy target because they continue to do dumb things. And while these other teams are bad also in the top 5, right now the Jets are the only one that retained their coach that's picking in the top 6. And Calvin's right? You know, Brady is the Raiders owner, so they have the first pick. He's the golden child of the NFL. That's part of it. 100%. But unfortunately, the Jets have done so much of this to themselves because you're talking about a 15-year playoff drought. Like, again, no one else in the NFL has a longer playoff drought than the New York Jets. They have the longest playoff drought in sports. That's all part of this. The owner is considered the worst owner in sports right now. It was the same thing with the Knicks for a while with Dolan, and then eventually he hired competent people and they started to win, and no one talks about James Dolan as a bad owner anymore. But again, we all deserve better as fans. Calvin is spot on. I'm not going to tell anyone how to fan, but I don't see the value in being a Jet season ticket holder right now. If you want to go to games and tailgate, great, do it. Just buy your tickets on the secondary market, though. Because if you go to every game as a season ticket holder, anyone who's been a season ticket holder knows by the time you get to October, you can't even try and resell your ticket to make any money. The price depreciates because the team is terrible. So I totally get where you're coming from, Calvin. It's incredibly frustrating, but the Jets will continue to get dunked on until they prove they're a competent franchise. Like, if you want it to change, they got to win. The Lions were a punching bag until they weren't. Like, that's how this goes. The Jets had the worst record in the NFL over the last decade. They haven't had a winning season in a decade. They have won more than 7 games in a decade. Like, these are facts. You know, the owner fired Saleh at 2-3 last year, and then look what happened after. Like, that's the reputation right now for the Jets. They hired Aaron Glenn. His team didn't have an interception over the course of an entire season. Stephen A. also in that rant about how Moore should stay in school, he also said Woody was a moron for not firing Glenn. That's the part that Stephen A. is right about. Why are we signing up for another year of this? But the problem we have is you can't escape bad ownership. And that's the problem we have as Jet fans. You can't fire the owner. It's very frustrating. Big fella, hop on the Bane and Jermaine train. You mean like Bane and Jermaine Johnson on the line? Or you're telling me you want the Jets to take like Jeremiah Love, the running back? Is that who the Jermaine is? I would not take a running back for what it's worth. I just don't think it's a smart use of resources. Thunderlips is in the raffle for 5 with this. He says, I'd like to trade back from 33, recoup our 3rd rounder, and take a shot on the LSU QB or something rather than take one in the first this year. You're also giving an Amish vibe with the scruff. Thanks, Thunderlips. How's your mustache, man? You haven't called in a while. We miss it. I don't hate that approach. Look, if the Jets could trade out of 16, I'd be open to that too. Get even more picks. Fine. They need everything. Build the team. I'm good with that. They'll take a swing on a quarterback at some point. It could be at 16. I think that'd be the earliest they do it, unless they could trade at it 2, and then they would do it with a team they did the trade back with. I don't know what team's coming up to 2, though. I mean, again, I'm not saying it's impossible for the Jets to trade at it 2, but typically teams come up for quarterbacks, and it feels like the earliest Simpson would go would be, just looking at the draft order, maybe 6 to Cleveland if they love him. I don't think Arizona's taking him at 3. That feels too early. 11, I believe, is the Dolphins. So maybe. Miami needs a quarterback. The Rams at 13 maybe would take Simpson if Stafford either had retired at that point or they know he's going into his last year. I mean, there is a path where you could get Simpson at pick 16. The Colts pick the Jets have. There is a path to that. Kyle Clifton's in the raffle for 2. Thank you, Kyle. Usually it's not me dumping on them. That's how you know it's bad. Yeah, again, I'm like labeled as like the negative guy now. Anyone who's watched my show longer than a year knows I am usually positive, but I can't fake it. I've never been this disgusted with the team. Roy says, would you take Carnell Tate at 2? Roy, I know you hate me because I'm critical of a god-awful 3-14 coach, but yes, I would. I wouldn't. If they took a receiver at 2, I'm not against that. I think Tate's a stud. I like Carnell Tate a lot. I think receiver has become a premium position in today's NFL. So I'm with it. Again, if we did a redraft of the 2022 NFL draft, Garrett Wilson doesn't make it to 10. So there you go. More of your calls right now. Southern Jet is up next on our program. Hello, Southern Jet.
Hey, I'm thrilled with today. I think this is the best news we could have had, mainly because of what you've been talking about. We were going to reach to save jobs. And again, for a quarterback who maybe doesn't fit the system, I think we dodged the biggest magnum bullet possible today. I don't care if we don't trade down. If they say, well, Moore's gone, so there's nobody to trade up with, take the best guy. Unless someone gives you a king's ransom. I wouldn't take a mediocre package just to say I picked up some extra picks. If I did get a king's ransom pick, I would ask for picks in 2027, possibly, so I could package them to get the top quarterback in 2027, because we all know that's where we're going to be picking our quarterback. So let's see if Glenn has learned anything, Jake. Based on the coordinator and the system we played, we obviously took the wrong quarterback. Now, you've been mentioning quarterbacks. Kirk Cousins fits the Jared Goff type model of what they were playing. Let's see if Glenn learned anything for this one. That's his best chance to get some wins and show some improvement with the team to try to save his job now that he doesn't have a Mendoza. Or I wasn't thinking Moore could be effective this year anyway, but Glenn would. Let's face it, Glenn's in desperation mode, and he would have reached for Moore and played him. But I think Cousins is the best bet as far as the system we're running and the lack of coaching that could, from a veteran point of view, say, okay, I get what I'm supposed to do here and make things happen. But we're all going to get back to the original point. He can't coach. The coaching staff can't coach. So even if Cousins comes in and game manages us to enough wins to where we have to, give a king's ransom to move up. Now, however, most draft experts think there's maybe 4 quarterbacks next year that would be going maybe equal to Mendoza, or just let's put it this way. 4 quarterbacks might be at the top half of the first round this year. So I think we're in good shape as far as what could have happened, because you are 100% right. We would have taken more.
Oh, he would have been a Jet. Anyone who thinks the Jets would have done the smart thing here, not taking him, is not aware of what when your job's on the line, you make desperate decisions. And a desperate decision would have been taking Dante Moore, which they would have done everything in their power to try and justify it. So I'm with you. I think look, the pick is not as valuable now, but that we could get a stud player at 2, another good player at 16, and we have 2 other picks in the top 45, 33 and 44. We could build a football team and go from there.
And I like Alar or Beck as dart throw. Well, Beck wouldn't be so much a dart throw. If you want to not give up so much capital, Alar's not the worst dart throw in the world. What are you losing?
I mean, again, he was a first-round pick if he came out a year ago, right? So
right.
I don't hate it. I mean, his coaching apparently, talked to any Penn State fan, was not good. Like Franklin wasn't a good offensive guy. I'm okay with that. I think the earliest he probably goes is maybe the 3rd round. They don't have a 3rd, so maybe they'd have to move up a little bit. But okay, I'd rather that than take a huge risk at number 2 in the draft. I'm with you.
Yeah, and Beck is going to cost you higher draft capital. And we know even if we took back, we're going to be drafting a new quarterback in 2027 with all those picks with a new coach. I mean, I don't want to hear it from any goddamn fans calling in saying that, oh, Glenn's going to be the coach in 27 because we're going to. It ain't going to happen if you got a brain and you got eyes. The guy can't coach. I've been watching NFL football since 1960. I know what my goddamn eyes see. He can't coach, and he doesn't read the room. Jaguars drive against a prevent defense, trailing by 30, is what the Jet brand is. The Sisters of the Poor JV team could go against a fucking prevent defense down by 30 and put a drive together. They want you to do that. They want you to take 5 minutes off the clock on a running drive. What a dang idiot. I'm sorry.
I got good news for you, Rich. 0 field goals blocked all season. Good call, Rich. I think you echo the sentiment of a lot of Jet fans. Again, thank you to Dante Moore for saving us as fans from having to watch our team justify taking you second in the draft. Dominate at Oregon, and you could be a Jet next year. We'll see you then. By the way, for those who didn't get the reference, Aaron Glenn was asked, hey, you're always talking about your brand, right? The Jet brand he wants. Well, what's an example of your brand?
To talk about your brand and stuff like that, how often have you seen it, and how do you, I don't know, how do you get it to be seen more consistently?
Yeah, well, there was we were playing Jacksonville, and I showed the team this. And if you guys go and watch the way that we ran the ball against Jacksonville, I thought it was very, very impressive on us controlling the line of scrimmage, us running the ball, being physical, being violent. It was actually after the third quarter. It was 12 seconds. We ran the ball. Our guys got into a shoving match. The quarter ends. Then we go down. We have a hell of a run on a physical play, and then we score a touchdown. And then we had other runs after that, and we had the passes that Brady was actually starting to get into a rhythm against Jacksonville. That was the brand of football that I want our guys to see, and I showed the whole team that.
So to recap, the drive he's referring to, the Jets were down 40-13. 40-13. He's referring to a garbage time drive as the example of the Jet brand. Isaiah Davis scored a rushing touchdown to cap the drive. Jets lost 48-20. That's the brand. And he showed that to the whole team. The whole team was probably like, what? Kyle Clifton writes in, if we're going to reach the same jobs and Moore staying does not fix the underlying issue, Glenn, I'm okay going back from 2, but I want to keep 2 picks in the top 20. Draft falls off after that. Yeah, I don't think the Jets would move that far down. I don't know who's trading up the 2 for a non-quarterback. So, look, they'll get a good player at 2. There's too many good players in the draft. All right, Fernando Mendoza's off the board. Everyone else is on the board. Find a good player. Again, find a good football player. It should not be that hard. I'm with you, Kai. I think they'll stay with their 2 picks in the top 20 range. Now, they could move out of 16. It would depend on the offer. And I'm okay with that. I mean, I don't know. I'm not going to pretend like I know anything about this draft class to a point where I'm going to say, yep, the talent definitely drops off after 20. I don't know that yet. We haven't had Senior Bowl yet or the Combine. So we'll see. And I'll be joined by Dom and Dylan all week in Mobile, and we'll get their perspectives on things. But I think there's good players in this draft. I do. There's just not a whole lot of quarterbacks, which is unfortunate. But again, we're not equipped to have a young quarterback on our team anyway right now. As sad as that is, that's how I'm looking at it. Let's go to Taylor from Connecticut. He's next on our show. What's up, Taylor?
Jake, what's going on? Are we all kind of sick of doing this every year where it's, a week after the NFL season hasn't even ended yet, and we're talking about mock drafts and quarterbacks coming out, and it's mind numbing. It's mind numbing as a fan. I feel like I can't do it anymore. um, I feel like we're like treading water a little bit because it doesn't make sense, not firing the coach, but you didn't tank enough to get a QB, and there's no clear path to who's playing quarterback. So you're not, if you don't have a top 20 quarterback in the league, you're not like, you have zero chance of having a winning record. That's how the league's set up. And I don't see any plan for who's like, well, where's the path to getting a top 20 quarterback in the league right now? Who are options?
There probably is until next year, realistically.
Right. So if you don't fire the coach, but you don't have an avenue to get a quarterback, and he's not going to have any pull for hiring, what you want is a younger, Leonard, whoever, insert name of young up and coming DC. It's like no one's going to take their first chance at a DC job with Aaron Glenn. So I feel like the Jets organization as a whole is just treading water for next year because there's no avenue for a winning record where Glenn keeps his job. So what's the point?
I mean, look, I like Ty Simpson more than most. I just wouldn't take him at 2. If they took him later, maybe he could develop into a good quarterback. It's less stakes. Like I think they'll take a swing on a quarterback, Taylor. I just think we got to get through this year, and the Jets are equipped with 3 first rounders in 2027 to find the quarterback then. And it sucks. I was very big on got to get the quarterback because we just figured like someone would clearly emerge as the second guy to Mendoza. And I think Moore probably would have went 2 if he came out, but I don't think he's a true number 2 pick. When you look at the overwhelming evidence of guys with that few starts, I think we'd be reaching, and I don't think you want to reach, and I don't trust the Jets to not reach, essentially.
Well, and that's fine, if we took Simpson, everybody's saying, the Colts pick, da. But I think if you want Simpson, you're either going to have to take him at 2 or trade up in front of the Dolphins. Who knows? Even maybe the Cardinals are 3, and they need a quarterback. They're potentially going to need a quarterback.
You know what? If they take Ty Simpson at 3, God bless them. Because the same criticisms I have of Moore, you could say the same about Ty Simpson. 1-year starter who has not played a whole lot of football either. Like that's the reality.
Well, and then the other thing is, even so, like hypothetically, even if the Jets got Simpson, even not at 2, that doesn't change. And like everybody's saying the same thing about him, that he needs to sit 2 and develop. So it's like that's still not a path to Glenn getting a winning or getting, whatever the Woody's threshold is for having a successful season where he's not getting fired. So it's like we're literally just sitting here like punting on next season already and be like, all right, we're just wait till we fire our coach and get somebody next year.
Now look, they'll make moves.
That doesn't make sense to me.
Again, it doesn't make sense. What makes sense is you fire Aaron Glenn now and get a real coach with all these great options available, and you have 5 ones over the next 2 years, and you sell that coach on, build the team, get your quarterback next year if you don't like anyone this year, and that would make sense. Problem is, Woody's not a good owner, so that's where this starts. So, yeah, I mean, we are kind of punting on next year, but in a lost year, we could still find good football players this offseason that no matter who the coach is a year from now, at least the team is in better shape than it currently is.
You have 2 top 20 picks and 4 in the top 44. Like you should find four good football players, I just who do you think our best avenue for like a quarterback is? Like, is it Kyler Murray like the best option we have for this year?
He might be. Cousins, Murray.
Yeah, underwhelming.
Like trade for Mac Jones, I guess. It's not great. Malik Willis, overpay him. I don't know if he'd choose the Jets over other options.
I think that's all overrated too. I don't think he's especially, smarts wise and actually being a good quarterback week in and week out. He's a good athlete, obviously, but I think that's all overblown too. But all right, all I got for you today, Jake. Appreciate it.
Hey, I appreciate you, Taylor. Good call. Buffalo Jet fan has an interesting option for the Jets at quarterback. Both without a date to the dance. Time to make nice, gentlemen. What do we think? Can these two gentlemen get along? You know, nothing a Woody Johnson hug can't fix.
I hug him every day. I hug him every day.
Just an idea here from Buffalo Jet fan. You imagine? I think Aaron Rodgers would rather do anything else would ever play for Woody Johnson and Aaron Glenn. But this is a very funny tweet by BJF. Terry says, Jake, someone will come up for Ty at 2. It happens. I don't know about that, Terry. I'm not saying the Jets couldn't trade at a 2. I just don't think it'd be for Ty Simpson. He started even less games than Dante Moore has. He has 15 career starts in college. They all came this year. .523 career pass attempts. Mark Sanchez had 487. And he made 16 starts. Ty Simpson, again, has 15. Clay says Aaron Glenn and Kenny Pickett. Oh, my God. I mean, if you added Pickett with, like, Cousins, at least, like, you have 2 veterans. Right? Or it's like Cousins and bring back Tyrod or something. But, yeah, I probably would go under just because it's really hard to not win at least 4 games in the NFL. But I wouldn't be overly confident, Clay. This coaching staff and Kenny Pickett. Yeah, I mean, it's not going to be good. I'm not going to pretend otherwise. Kenny Pickett stinks. And that's the reality. More of your calls right now, ladies and gentlemen. It's time.
You'll never get my chicken soup recipe. I'm not saying that Lowski takes steroids. Need some of it. Hey, child, who is that lovely lady? Send it this way, child.
Hey, Jake, how are you?
Hello, Charles.
Guess who's with me today?
Wow. Steady Eddie Gorman.
I'm treating him for an early birthday present today.
When's his birthday?
His birthday's tomorrow, so I'm going to celebrating with him today.
Happy almost birthday to Eddie Gorman, one of the all-time greats.
Thank you. I was also brought to my attention that today is the 10-year anniversary of our grandfather's passing.
My condolences.
Thank you. And also tomorrow is also my deceased grandmother's 100th birthday.
Well, happy birthday to your grandma in heaven.
Thank you, man. Now, as for the Dante Moore decision, that I'm not surprised. I actually kind of wanted him to stay in school to gain more experience.
What a transition.
Yeah. I do like the young man. I think he has a lot of potential, but I think he needs more years of experience underneath his belt before he plays in the NFL. So I'm glad he stayed in school. As for taking other quarterbacks like Ty Simpson, look, not too many Alabama quarterbacks have had recent success in the NFL, other than maybe Mac Jones, because he's made the playoffs. Tua has been a disappointment, so we shall see. But I would definitely consider drafting Jeremiah Love if the Jets move on from Breece Hall all of a sudden.
Say it again, Charles.
I would consider in drafting Jeremiah Love if the Jets choose to move on from Breece Hall.
Charles, you want a running back in the first round?
Well, not with the second overall pick, but maybe in the late first round, maybe.
Well, I mean, pick 16 is the other first round pick they have.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's all depends if Breece Hall is either not re-signed or released, or moves on in free agency.
Well, we'll know by then.
Yeah. So I really wanted to say, Jake, hope you're having a good day today, and peace out.
Hey, real quick, Charles, just remember who your true friends are. Jay Quest says, big Jets news. No one cares, Gorman. Go root for your Colts.
Love you too, Jay Quest. Bye.
Think about what he just said there. He doesn't care about your grandmother turning 100 if she was still alive tomorrow.
It is what it is, Jake. I'm used to people being mean to me at this point. Bye.
Well, Charles, you're a friend of mine. Don't you dare forget that.
Hi, I'm Charles, and I'm going to talk about Spider-Man and movies and sports and video games and maybe hot chicks.
The Jay Quest villain arc is fascinating. Very fascinating. Couple super chats here. Appreciate everyone supporting the channel. You guys are the best. You make it possible to do this year round. Niall Newark says, Moore wasn't the guy, thank God. Rodgers didn't move the needle for the Steelers. In a weird way, we're set up for the future. After the Mike White t-shirts thing happened, we kept sucking. You think the Jets sucking has anything to do with the Mike White t-shirts? They sucked for how many years before Mike White in that 2022 season? The playoff drough's been going on since 2011, man. Mike White's t-shirt had nothing to do with that. Latrivia is in the raffle for 2. Is this Asman? It looks like him in the picture. I can't tell, though. I hate that YouTube gives people at usernames now instead of just their regular names. Thanks to the football gods, Dante's going back. I'm glad he took us out of having to make that decision. With that being said, Dante Moore, 27 draft with our own top 10 pick. Here we go. Mike Tomlin and Dante Moore 1 year from now. All right. Or Arch Manning and Mike Tomlin 1 year from now. Let's really get some Jet fan fantasies out there. My early prediction for who the coach is in 2027 is Darren Muji's college roommate, Kevin O'Connell, if the Vikings fire him. When we had Will Pond, he brought up that they were college roommates. I'd forgotten that fact. I remember we talked about it when Muji was hired. I could see it. Former Jet. I know that ownership thinks highly of O'Connell. I could see it. Kyle Clifton in the house. I mean, if you surround Bailey Zappi with Carnell Tate, Sadiq, and another stud running back, then I could definitely see us getting to 5 wins. JK FML. Yeah, all this talk about how we don't have a franchise quarterback. We got Zappi, baby. Bailey. That's got to count for something now. Appreciate the super chat, Kyle. Latrivia says, hopefully we'll have a new offensive head coach, a better roster, and Moore will be more refined and much more pro-ready to be fully developed. Or he's just not an option for the Jets a year from now, and they take someone else who's better. How about that? Let's spin it positive. People say I'm too negative. I'll be positive right now because I think today's a very good day for the Jets. How about a year from now we have Arch Manning or Julian Sayin or Jaden Maiava or Lenora Sellers, the guy that Allen said should have been the number 1 pick in the draft in October, and he was bad. So, you never know. Year to year, things change. How do we know Dante Moore doesn't go back to school and he struggles next year? Or he doesn't get hurt? Look at Drew Allard at Penn State. Cade Klubnik. Garrett Nussmeier. These guys were supposed to be top 10 picks, I thought. Maybe Brendan Sorsby's great next year. Sam Levitt's great next year. They play themselves into first-round consideration. We don't know. I just think there are more options next year, and I'm not going to reach on a quarterback at 2. Moore hasn't played enough games, and after watching him last week, I think that is all part of this. But I'm okay with this, man. I am. I think we can be positive. We don't need to be negative and act like this is a bad day for the Jets. I don't think it is. I'd be the first one to be negative if it called for it. I'm okay with today. I think this is a good thing. Niall Newark says, draft my cousin, Nari Biggins from Central Michigan. Is that actually your cousin, or is this a fake draft prospect you just made me read? Because I have no idea. I have to look into this. Someone look into this for me. It's hard to do research and host a talk show. More calls right now. OG, Jet fan, Tommy on the line. He's next. What's up, man?
Jake, what's up, my brother?
Hey, Tommy, how are you?
How are you, my man? I mean, obviously not good with the Jets. But hey, Mr. Charles Gorman, MG Eugene Gorman, I'm sorry for your losses. We all deal with grandparents that have to go through losses. I'm sorry for that. You'll be okay. Your parents will take care of it, and you'll be all right. When you lose your parents, that's when you really get stuck. All right, Mr. Eugene M. Gorman, Mr. Charles. Grandparents, I lost all four of mine, and it was tough. I loved them all to death, but that's what happens. Father time will everlast every human being. That's just no one ever beat it. Not no one, not Aaron Rodgers, not anybody that tried to play. But my main point was Jake. If we're going to, right? So Moore went back to college. Do you think? Well, obviously, we're not drafting a quarterback at 2. My question is, what position do you think that do we go highest? Like who do we go at 2? Okay, and
I think best player available. I don't know who that is yet. We're so early. Like I people will tell you 5 different names for the second pick right now. Parnell Tate, Jordan Tyson, pick your pass rusher, Bain, Bailey, Reese. I don't know. I think right now, anyone telling you they know who the best non-quarterback is in this draft class, it's just an opinion right now. I don't think there's a consensus at this point.
But Jake, do you look at it as a position needed? I know it's the best player available, but do you look at it as the best position that the Jets need? Like, do you look at a pass rusher first? Do you look at a safety first? Like, who do you look at first? Like a linebacker? Who would be that second pick?
Tom, I'm going to let you go just because there's an echo every time I talk. Good call. Personally, I don't love the idea of taking Caleb Downs at 2 because he's a safety. Like, I don't like taking non-premium position players that high. That said, he better be generational if you take him, and they say he might be. It goes against everything I've ever said. I'd prefer a pass rusher or a wide receiver, personally. That's how I would approach it. But they have a lot of needs. I can't sit here and be like, oh, Downs wouldn't help him. Of course he would. What does help the Jets is they have other picks. But I think you lean premium position. I don't think there's a corner that's worth the second pick in the draft. It's not like Sauce is coming out where like people were saying, no, like he should go in the top 4. And Stingley even went before Sauce, by the way. Stingley went 3 that year. I don't think there's a Stingley or a Sauce in this draft. I wouldn't take a running back at 2. See Saquon Barkley, Giants fans. Right? I know Jeremiah loves awesome. In fact, Dom C has him as the number 1 player in the draft, but I can't take a running back second overall. I like Reese. I like Bailey. I like Tate. I like Bain. All right, one of those 4 I'd be good with. Hey, congrats to Thunderlips. He wrote in, my great-great-grandmother would have been 212 years old. Michael writes in, where's Lane? We need the Lane train to decide what the Jets should do at 2. He's our draft expert for those who've been around for a while. They know this. They know that the Lane train is the guy you want making all the tough decisions in the draft. He's a guy you could trust. He's a guy that has a proven track record of player evaluation. And what he decides to do, I'm in.
The 27th pick in the NFL draft, the New York Jets select Dixon Hall out of Arizona State. What am I, a mind reader?
That's the guy you need in the war room helping out Muji and Glenn. We need the Lane train. That's the guy that we need to make sure the Jets don't screw up this top pick, which I think, I'm not speaking out of turn. Many of us are still going to be holding our breath what they do at number 2 now.
On the 2022 draft pick, the pick goes to Knoble out of college.
Got to keep that in mind. Spencer says, Sunday, February 1st. Jake, find us tickets and let's go to war. Your Knicks versus my Lakers. Walk in, yo trap, and take over. I'm just not. Spencer, I have to deal with you in the YouTube chat. The last thing I think I ever want to do is actually spend 3 hours with you at a basketball game. I am good. Fire Aaron Glenn says, fire Aaron Glenn. If we had a real head coach, it would be a more attractive destination for a rookie QB. Honestly, maybe Glenn being retained did us a favor. Because I'll tell you what, I have some breaking Jet news I want to share. Ladies and gentlemen, you're the first to hear about this campaign that starts now.
Breaking sports news on the Jake Asman Show.
The March for Arch is underway. The tanking of Arch Manning can officially commence. This was sent to me by Jokes on X. The March for Arch. Good God. Now, the only chance a Manning is ever playing for the Jets is if you have a legitimate head coach that they are confident in letting their kid be drafted by that head coach. I don't know if the Jets could get Tomlin a year from now. I hope they can. But let's use him as an example. If they had Mike Tomlin, I know Woody still owns the team, but I think Peyton and Eli will be okay with it. We have Aaron Glenn. Arch Manning's never being a Jet. It won't happen. We need credibility if you want Arch. And look, maybe Arch wouldn't play for the Jets, but you know what? Someone will trade for Arch. We'll get even more picks, and we'll take one of the other stud quarterbacks next year, we hope. I don't know. Honestly, Peyton Manning want to coach? He owes us after he freaking gave us Adam Gase. Let Peyton have a role with the organization. Matt Ryan just took a job with the Falcons. Let Peyton Manning buy part of the team. Buy ownership. Sell a part of the team to him. Then we'll get Arch. Hashtag the March for Arch. It's underway. Super Chats cut the line. Is me, Asman. Do I get in the raffle? First timer. You are in the raffle, Asman. I got you down, man. I knew I recognized your profile picture. Craig in Australia with a super chat. Mate, so sorry for the crap exchange rate. If we're talking about Cousins and Mariota at this point, have we checked if Case Keenum's available? Is Case Keenum still in the league? He is the backup quarterback on the Bears. He's 37 years old. He might be available. Dan the Jet fan checks in. Let the Colts tank for us. Like to see them play next year like they did in the second half of the season. Yeah, I mean, what's the Colts plan at quarterback? They got the same problems we do, and they don't have a first-round pick. Daniel Jones going to be able to play with a torn Achilles and be the same guy right away? I don't know. Ladies and gentlemen, the March for Arch is underway, though. O-Rocks is up next on our show. Then we got Peter. We'll do more of your calls here. Breaking news, more back to school as we keep it rolling. What's up, O-Rocks?
Hey, how's it been? It's probably been since before we hired Aaron Glenn that I called in. So it's been a long time.
Has anything happened since?
I just got back from Tokyo last week.
Whoa!
First time out of the country.
All right, now I feel like I've caught up on your life the last year. Then O-Rocks, love it.
Yeah, that's pretty much all that's happened. It was a struggle of a year, but yeah. As far as our team, man, we've been in the shitter for a long time. I was not with the idea to go with Justin Fields. I was not with the idea for Aaron Glenn. I thought we should have never let Mike Vrabel leave the building without a contract, like without an offer at least. And it always seems to me that we're always out of the loop during a good coaching cycle year. We're always stuck on somebody. We were stuck on Salah when Jim Harbaugh was available. We were stuck on Salah for another year. Now, John Harbaugh, Mike Tomlin, the names go on down the list of people that are available, and we are stuck on a coach that we aren't even sure about. So I feel as though our team needs somebody with experience, somebody who's been there, done that, turn around a team in a year, and not just somebody who's learning on the job. I feel like our defense fell apart last year, especially after the trades, and nobody was able to get it back together. Why did we hire Steve Wilkes? Not sure. We could have had so many other options out there. Aaron Glenn could have even called the plays himself and learned on the job with that, and we probably would have had a better defensive year. But other than that, as far as our picks go, I feel as though we need to trade back. We need at least another prospect of a shutdown corner. I say we trade back to at least beyond the 10. I'd say around 10 to 12. We could get a good corner. That 16 pick, we could either go defensive end or we could go linebacker, because I feel like our linebackers are getting a little bit long in the tooth. I like Quincy Williams, but he's a touch and go player. He's either playing like an MVP or he's playing like he doesn't know what he's doing. So I just don't know where we go from here. Second round, I feel like we need a wide receiver. And then the third round.
No third round pick, but two
we don't
round
have
picks.
a third round this year.
You can take Joe Douglas for that one. Yep.
Well,
Look,
yeah.
they're set up, Rocks. Every position you named is a need. It will be interesting to see is what they do in free agency, right? If they sign, I'll throw Alec Pierce out there, right? Let's say they sign Pierce in free agency. I don't think the Jets are then going to use pick 16 or even pick 2 for that matter on a wide receiver. So it's always tough to do mock drafts because we haven't had free agency yet. So to me, get really good football players at 2 and 16, preferably premium position at 2, because that's just like, you don't want, if you're picking second, you prefer to have a stud edge rusher than a really good safety or linebacker. But again, like you don't want to take a worse prospect if just because they play a quote unquote non-premium position. They have options. And I think if Darren Muji and Aaron Glenn can't find a damn good football player at 2, what are we doing?
I feel like we have options at safety. We've had Whitehead, for example, probably not on anybody's radar as far as trade value or anything like that. When we had Whitehead, though, he had a nose for the football. He was getting interceptions and knocking down balls left and right. Did he make some mistakes? Yeah, sometimes he'd have a blown coverage, but as far as the guy being enough at that position for that defense was good enough. Why take a safety at 2 when you're only a safety because you're too slow to be a DB? Is that not correct in my thinking?
Yeah, I mean, there's so many. I don't know. To be honest with you, because I think so much of their problems this past year, if you want to use the Jets as an example, is the coaching was horrific, right? Like
it was.
Jamie and Sherwood and Quincy, I don't think just forgot how to play football. I think they were horribly coached. I think the same thing with Jermaine, even off the Achilles, and Will McDonald, who I know got terrible coaching because Glenn was puffing his chest about how good the coaching was going to be. And outside of one game, Will McDonald was terrible this year. So they need everything. They also need to get better coaches in general. Take really good players, and no matter who the coach is a year from now, they can make it work. That's kind of where
I say we get somebody off of that Texan staff because that defense is crazy good.
Yeah. You know what? I was thinking about this, Elrox. Great call. Good to hear. You got to call in again soon, all right?
No problem. Take it easy, guys.
It'll not be a year from now, all right? I'm not waiting.
It won't be. It won't be. Hopefully, I have a better year and I can call in more often. Take it easy, guys.
Yeah, he brings up the Texans. The Texans are what Saleh and the Jets were supposed to be if it worked out, right? Instead of Stroud, we took Zach Wilson. And D'Amico's a way better coach than Saleh, handles the team better at staffing hires. So I don't want to just make it seem like, oh, well, one guy has Stroud, one guy has Zach Wilson. I used to think that way, but now D'Amico's really improved. And he is a phenomenal strategist. He really is. And they've drafted well and they've developed really well. Their GM has made some really good moves, and Nick Caserio, who made fun of me at the combine when I spoke to him last year. I knew Nick when I was in Houston, and he goes, "What's up with your Jets?" I'm like, "Thank you, Nick." And I go, "We were supposed to be you guys. We did the same thing. We hired the 49ers defensive coordinator. We took a quarterback second overall, and we still stink." And he laughed. So, by the way, go Texans this weekend. I mean, it goes without saying. I hope that defense is ferocious against Drake May, but they need CJ Stroud to show up. He was terrible on Monday. He was terrible. Let's say hello to Peter, who's up next. Hello, Peter.
Hey, Jake. How you going, mate?
How are you, Peter?
Very good, man. Very good. Pretty interesting news coming out. Just woke up to see Dante Moore's not declared. I think it kind of makes the decisions easier for us, though, rather than are we taking a risk on such a young guy with so little experience. We've kind of been there before, and it hasn't worked out well. So I think then you've got opportunities to take like an edge or one of these premium positions, like, top 5 edge rushers in the league never come up for trade. You can't buy them. You cannot pick them up from anywhere. So, we've got opportunities, I think, to make sensible, easy decisions there. We could trade back. I'm having a look at like CBS has like a list of all their top prospects. The position like variety in that top 10 is massive. You've got safeties, you've got linebackers, interior offensive linemen, edge rushers, wide receivers. So you could trade back and you're probably getting something good at one of the positions of need. So I think we're in kind of a good position here. I'm kind of optimistic, given like it just makes things a little easier, which is nice. But obviously, whatever we do this year, we've got to get some sort of bridge quarterback. I don't know. Do you have thoughts on who you'd like ideally coming into this situation if we don't pick up a quarterback in this draft?
Yeah, I mean, I think they're going to have a bridge no matter what, Peter. Like, they're going to have to sign a veteran or two, like Kirk Cousins, Kyler Murray. You'll hear those names. Trade for Mac Jones. Is there another veteran out there? Could could Jameis be an option? Would the Giants be willing to move him if the Jets make a offer for him to start? I know he's under contract for another year. They like him as a backup to Dart, and I wouldn't move him if I'm the Giants because Dart has been in concussion protocol several times this year or has been evaluated. I'm just trying to think outside the box. A lot of the backups we typically always hear this time of year, they are under contract for another season. Brissett, Mac Jones, Jameis. They're going to have to be creative. I mean, I think Kirk Cousins would make the most sense of the potential options at this point because I think he'd also would be a good mentor to whoever they draft. Let's say they took Simpson or they took Chambliss. I think that'd be a good fit.
Yeah. And I think I kind of really want it to be a 1-year deal. I'm so stressed by all these like 2 or 3 year deals we do for quarterbacks that just do not work out. And we're like, another year on the books every single time. So hopefully we can just get someone to bite us some time. I don't think we're going to be much good next year, unfortunately. I hope it's different. I hope Aaron Glenn pulls it all together, but it really doesn't feel like it. So we'll probably be picking in that top 5 next year, and hopefully there's some other prospects for us.
With a new coach and all these quarterback options, that's how you got to look at it.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, that's all from me really today, mate. Just a quick one. Thanks for all you do. Show's awesome, and keep up the good work.
Peter, thank you, man. Great call.
I hug him every day. I hug him every day.
Woody Johnson loved it. We know he loves people across the pond. Let's see. Dan says trade back 3 spots and get a 4th and a 1st next year. Trade back 3 spots from 2. So who's coming up at number 2 in this scenario then? Like which player are the Giants coming up for? You said 3 spots, right? Should I go from 2 to 5? Wouldn't it be, honestly, 2 to 6 would be more likely if Moore was in the draft. And let's say the Browns wanted him, you can make a deal. But he's not. I don't think Ty Simpson's going to go 2. Again, I don't know if there's a prospect that is worth that. Things change. Coaches start evaluating the prospects. They look at the tape. They talk to these guys at the combine. They have the individual workouts. They meet them, take them out to dinner the night before their visits. Like so much changes. And all it takes is one team to love someone and they can move up. But I think the Jets are going to have a hard time trading at it too. I think they're going to be in a position to just take a really good football player, hopefully at 2. I think that's what happens. Ladies and gentlemen, he called in earlier and had a wild phone call. Now he's cooking dinner. Hello, Chuck Wagon.
Hey, what's up, Jake? How you doing?
What are we making there, Chuck?
Sausage risotto.
Nice.
Smells really good. Doing the sausage right now. Hey, honey. What's up? Okay. Okay. Okay, go ahead. That was Little Wagon, if you couldn't tell.
The great Little Wagon, if you will.
Yes. Yes.
What time do you eat dinner in your household? It's not even 5 o'clock yet.
Well, with risotto, it's going to take about 35, 40 minutes to cook it because it takes a while. So, my oldest daughter's at dance, so, you know, she already has a little bagged lunch that she went with, so she'll have some leftovers.
Well, I hope you enjoy it. All right, Chuck?
Yes. Have a good one.
You too. Ladies and gentlemen, the Chuck Wagon. Should mention this again. We're giving away a Joe Klecko helmet on the show. Make sure you enter the Asmaniac raffle for your chance to win it. Gift the membership or send in a $10 super chat or higher, and you got a chance to win. You also will be entered in a Chad Pennington signed helmet raffle, Darrelle Revis signed helmet, and a Garrett Wilson signed helmet is our top prize from raffle 57. You enter a daily raffle, you got a chance to win a weekly raffle prize. More of your calls coming up. I'll continue to stay on. We have tremendous viewership throughout the afternoon here, reacting to the news of Dante Moore staying in school, which again, blessing in disguise for my fellow Jet fans out there. I got a text from someone who covers a different NFL team. Quote, dude, Jets set up for a 2027 quarterback. Could be 7 different dudes that go in round 1. And with all the likelihood being the top option on the market, because you have to think there are about 20 coaches that aren't getting fired at all. 0 possibility in the next year plus. How about that? Someone thinking positive about the Jet future. I like it. Let's be positive. Why not? Ladies and gentlemen, for the first time today, we say hello to this man. Beast. Ladies and gentlemen, it appears like the Beast is sleeping. Beast. Wake up, Beast. Beast. Dante Moore is going back to school. We have business to discuss. Beast, wake up. Beast. Wake up, Beast. All right, I'm going to have to sound the alarm, people. So I apologize in advance. Lower your volumes if you're driving or you have kids around. I'm going to sound the alarms. All right. I'm giving everyone fair warning to adjust their volume so we don't blow out anyone's ears, especially people that are wearing headphones. All right, ladies and gentlemen, a warning has been issued. It's time. Wake up! Wake up, Beast!
Oh, son of a bitch! Esto está fuera.
Wake up, Beast! Wake up, we have business to
Susie,
discuss.
at home. Oh yeah, how about these words? Hey, Susie, at home.
Wake up, Beast.
That's from I Love Lucy. That's from I Love Lucy, 1955. I feel okay. I'm just laying down with a little headache. Got a headache.
You all right?
Hey, yeah, I just got a little bangy headache today.
Take some Advil.
The cold, the winter,
Tylenol.
I want to sleep it off because tonight, you know what tonight is? Tonight is AEW Dynamite Live on TBS. And then tomorrow, we get back to basics, except I got to go to a funeral tomorrow.
Now, my condolences.
Next door neighbor passed. I don't know how it happened, but don't want to talk about it. It's another day. It's another day. I'm going to take my piece, and then I'm just going to enjoy the rest of my week. Dante Moore, good thing he went back to school. But he needs another year. He's not prepared. He's not ready. No, not ready. Give him time. Maybe another year. We'll see what happens. But until then, focus. Mendoza, $45 million. Mike Tomlin, since he's a former Super Bowl champion, I say give him about a good $55 mil.
Okay.
2-year extension. Let's bust some ass and get this son of a bitch. It's time to say.
Let's go Jets! Let's go Jets! Let's go Jets!
I like it. Mendoza and Tomlin. I'm in. What a plan. Dana says, little Joey hates loud noise. Well, we needed to get the beast awakened. More of your calls. Philly Noodles is up next. He joins us now. Hello, Philly.
Hey, what up, bro?
Philly.
What's going on?
Living the dream, you know.
We're living the hypothetical dreams of all. I think, obviously, it's the greatest news we've gotten the new year, that he's not coming out. The burden is now not laid on the staff nobody wants as of right now. I'm a little more enlightened. I think we all should be. Now we can move down. We could move up, which would be completely disgustingly rich of us to do. But
what's the most you would give to move up?
2 first. That's it. Period. End of story. I'm giving them that second and one other one, and they can have a player if they're that thirsty. Give them Brees on a franchise. Oh no, excuse me. It's the Raiders. I mean, you're overpaying Max Crosby. Not overpaying. He's deserving of it. There's nothing they would even want on our roster. So let me take that back. They're not moving up. Mendoza goes there. He goes there. It is what it is. But I think we have a Jackson Dart type scenario, right? Either Simpson or Chambliss if they wanted to take a shot and gamble. I would not want to see them use a single first round pick to move up from next year into the first round here again to grab a quarterback. That would be, I think, a really bad idea. Being said that if there's like a crop of quarterbacks next year, we have 3 first round picks. We can do whatever the hell we want. There's not a single GM who won't answer that call, even in division. You know, like it doesn't matter at that point because you're robbing that team. So, I don't know, man. I think we should all be like optimistic and just cool now. We can take a step down. You know what I mean? Do what you got to do. Enjoy your drink. Now you're not drinking for the season was as bad as it is, and then the situation got even worse, and then people are even more mad. And Tomlin's available. You can now sip your drink and say, "We're not making that decision this year." Sip your drink a little bit lighter. Feel a little bit better. And Beast killed me right there. He said, "Susie, I'm home," instead of Lucy, and then he corrected himself. You can't do that, bro. That's a classic show. Quintessential American television. Coming from an American television know-it-all that Beast is. You can't do that, buddy. And I don't know. I don't know what else I got to do. I don't know.
Well, I'll tell you what, Philly. It's not
Yeah.
all bad. I think
No,
now
it's
that
not.
we can take a step back and just kind of look back on the season. We can acknowledge the fact that 0 kicks were blocked all year.
That's
We're a
fire.
field goal team. Last year we had 3 blocks. This year, I mean, we had no blocks.
Good call by Philly Noodles there, taking the optimistic approach. I agree. I don't think the Raiders are trading out of 1, and I don't really think I would trade what they'd asked for to come up to 1. First off, there's never been a trade where any teams went from 2 to 1 in the draft. I like Fernando Mendoza. I don't think I want to trade my future ones to get him. I guess the most I would give is maybe like one of my ones next year. Maybe. I don't even know if I would do that. I had to really would consider it. And it's going to cost more than that anyway. So there's no point even entertaining the conversation. The Raiders would need to be blown away with an offer. And I just don't see the Jets doing that. I'd rather build the roster up now. See, I wanted more to declare and then for the Jets to trade at it too. Because the more I did the research into quarterbacks with that few starts, I didn't want more. So I'm truly comfortable with building out the team, trading at it 2. That's going to be harder to do now without more. Okay, fine. I'll take a good player at 2 then. I think it's okay. I don't think this is dire for the Jets today. Next year is cooked anyway with because we kept Aaron Glenn. So I might as well build a football team now and figure out quarterback in 2027. That's kind of where I'm at. More calls right now.
I've got my eye on you. Checkmate me full scraping. It's fireball whiskey time. David motherfucking T.
Hi, Mr. Jake.
Hey, David T.
Hey, I feel a little more comfortable now. I was all on board taking a shot at Dante Moore, even with Aaron Glenn, but being what it is, my dad used to say, maybe we have to drop back to make the game. And, hopefully Muji has a good year, makes the right decisions. The only thing I'm skeptical about, Jake, even if Aaron Glenn has a bad year next year, is Mr. Woody Johnson going to find some way to keep him into the following year?
Let's hope not. I mean, if he has a good year, that'd be awesome. And then I think we'd be happy that he is coming back, but I don't know.
And the one thing, Jake, what really hurts this year, and it's all, I guess it's all part of being a Jet fan. All these bona fide coaches available, and and really, in my opinion, the right thing to do is let Aaron Glenn go. But it hurts. It hurts being a Jet fan.
The pain never stops, David T. That's why we drink copious amounts of alcohol like you.
Yeah, we could always drink more Fireball.
Fireball whiskey, you know it.
Thank you, Jake.
David T, everybody.
I got my Iron UG. I hope you like my Jets take. You know they call me David T. It's not easy for me to see, but if you bring me full stream, you might like what I had to say. I'll need to get real damn close, cause my vision is dog shit.
Dante Moore, you might not be a Jet right now, but 1 year from now with Kevin O'Connell as our coach, you will be. Watch out. Save the tape, Boomtown. Save the receipt. Again, blessing for the Jets. Dante Moore was not ready to be the second pick in the draft. He needs development, and the Jets are not equipped to develop a quarterback. They're not. Not with this coach. Not with this head coach, offensive coordinator, quarterback coach. We could say, you want him in the draft so they could trade at it too. Come on. They won't do the right thing. Can't trust them to. Mel Kiper earlier on Dante Moore to the Jets.
Then the Jets will have to decide. Do we want to bring him along slowly, give him time to sit, watch, and learn? We say that about everybody, but they never get it. He needs that. He would have to get that ability, have that ability to sit, watch, and learn. And if you don't feel like you want to do that, you need somebody that's going to be ready quicker. You don't want to take the risk of taking a quarterback with 20 starts based on that list that you guys had that we've talked about for years, right? That puts it in a risky situation, knowing that those other quarterbacks either failed or were somewhat disappointments. At the end of the day, that's why it makes this decision for Dante tough. I think it's easier for Dante. I think it's going back is the easier decision. Doesn't mean it's the right decision, because if he comes into the league and he sits for a year and he becomes a hell of a quarterback, and you say, hey, fine. If he goes back to Oregon and he gets hurt, you'll be saying, why did he go back? He would have been a first-round pick. So this is why it's very difficult. I think myself, you need to go back. But if he doesn't and he comes out, then everybody's going to be sitting there. Certainly after the second pick, you get into the 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 10th pick range. There are going to be teams screaming to move up and get this guy. So again, that's why the Jets sitting at 2 will have to figure all that out and then reconcile it and obviously meet with Dante, go through the process up until April 23rd with Dante, and to see if they want to go that route.
Well, we don't have to worry about the Jets screwing it up because Dante Moore is going back to school. Thank God. Thank God. Again, celebrate the good news. We don't get it often. I'll take it. I will take it.
It's up to you, New York. New York.
Hit the like button. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel. You guys are the best. Join the Patreon if you haven't. Get in our Discord. It's patreon.com/Jake Asman Show. Big thank you to everyone who supports the show. Wouldn't be able to do this year-round without you. If you join the Patreon for the year, you get 10 raffle tickets automatically applied in the raffle. So keep that in mind. But today is a blessing for the New York Jets. I will say that with a straight face because I don't trust this coaching staff and general manager on the hot seat to evaluate this quarterback honestly. I don't think Dante Moore would go number 2 in a lot of other draft classes. He's too raw. So it is what it is. Again, let's hope the Jets can find a really good player at 2. They should be able to. I mean, you can get anyone but Fernando Mendoza in this draft class and find that good player. And you still have pick 16, pick 33, and pick 44. Plus 3 first-rounders next year. That's how I'm looking at it. So, again, thank you to everyone who tuned in. You guys are the best. Love all of you. Thanks for watching the show. Better days are ahead, Jet fans. We don't know when. It's kind of hard to be any worse than where things currently are right now. So, I will talk to you guys soon. Reminder, hit the like button if you haven't already. JETS, 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 Jets. We will talk to all of you soon.
I wanted to jump up on you, asshole. I wanted to jump up on you. I wanted to jump up on you, asshole. See, Rory got the. I wanna talk to people with low ideas. Not that I wanna jump over bones, but you're very attractive. I don't want to jump over. I wanted to jump up on you. of them down. Can I say hello to my love? I don't wanna jump alone. You know,
Oh, hi. Jake wants me to ask you to click on the like button.
That's right, Lane. And if they don't subscribe to the Jake Asman Show, this team may never win another game. Let's go, Jets!